some of the updates that have came out today. There was a news conference on some of a new lawsuit that has came out, and we're just going to catch up on listen to a couple different little updates that I think that are worth listening to. So I'm going to give everybody about 15 more seconds to come before I start. Actually, I'll get to the 1 minute mark. How about that? And yes, the screen is black because we are just doing a listening party right now. If I feel the need to, turn the camera on, I will. But right now, it's just going to be this. Welcome, welcome. As you all can see, that's what we're going to be listening to. I'm going to give it a few more minutes, a few more seconds, and then we will listen to this. I will give also a trigger warning. Hey, sir, what are you doing? No. No one's laying with the tablecloth. I thought he was clawing at it. I didn't realize she was running through it. All right, we'll give you guys a few more seconds. What's up, Miguel? How are you doing, sweetie? We're going to listen to a press conference that came out today, and we're going to listen to some other updates. All right, we're going to get going.
My name is Tony Busby. I'm a lawyer here in Houston. I'm licensed in this and in New York, and I'll introduce other members of our team as they speak. As many of you know, our law firm has been at the forefront of some of the most important litigation in the United States. We like the tough cases. We thrive in the complicated cases. We've handled over the last 25 years some very big and very important cases. I believe that this one may surpass them all. There are many facets to this. The conduct we will describe today occurred over more than 20 years. There are many people and many entities involved. And we're going to follow this evidence wherever it takes us. We will find the silent accomplices. We will expose the enablers who enabled this conduct behind closed doors. We will pursue this matter no matter who the evidence implicates. These brave victims who have stepped forward deserve nothing less. The biggest secret in the entertainment industry that really wasn't a secret at all has finally been revealed to the world. The wall of silence has now been broken, and victims are coming forward. Our team has had at this point more than 3,285 individuals contact us with people claiming to have been victimized by Sean Combs. After vetting, we now represent 120 individuals who intend to bring on Diddy Combs, as well as claims against many other individuals and entities that we will name as defendants as we file these individual cases.
If you're just coming in, this is a press conference that is going that happened a little bit ago. That is some new cases going, civil cases going for Mr. Pitiful.
And you should know, to the extent the clients feel comfortable, we also need to make these individuals available to the authorities, specifically to the FBI. And you should also know a few of them have already been spoken to by the FBI. Now, before we discuss the nature of the claims and claimants themselves, let me comment on the large volume of calls we have received since our first announcement. Even before the indictment of Sean Combs, we had received a small volume of calls and had screened a handful of cases. After the indictment of Sean Combs and the announcement that we were pursuing these claims, the floodgates opened. People who wouldn't otherwise, for a variety of reasons, are now stepping forward to make their voices heard and to pursue justice. But no, most of these people are scared. They fear backlash in their communities.
Yeah, I don't really care.
They fear backlash in their own families. They are afraid of retaliation from the perpetrators and their associates. They are rightly afraid for their own personal safety. I expect that through this process, many powerful people will be exposed. Many dirty secrets will be revealed. We know what we are potentially up against. And as is always the case in situations like this, when a celebrity is involved, people can be downright mean and nasty. You would be shocked at the length fans will go, no matter the evidence to the contrary, to defend celebrities they love. I mean, there's a reason for this word fans. They're fanatics.
Yep.
I've personally already been threatened multiple times on social media. And when I agreed to pursue this, I expected as much.
Yep.
This isn't my first rodeo. But victims who step forward to have their voices heard should not be subjected to that kind of conduct. They should not be targeted. I want to say this, and I want to be clear about it. Although we are vetting each call as stringently as we can, I always start with a mindset that I believe victims. I believe victims because I understand the tremendous courage it takes to step forward. So if you're watching this, please hear me. If you're out there and you have been victimized, you are not alone. There is a great strength in numbers. You can seek redress. You can obtain justice. We can help you, and we will help you.
Right.
That being said, as stated, we are vetting every call that we receive. We have had to turn away some. For each, we ask for corroboration. For each, we ask for the identity of witnesses. We also have collected pictures, videos, texts. We check venues. We check dates.
No, Jonathan, we all don't have to do the same thing. We are all uniquely in our own things. So I do the things that I do, and Eli does the thing he does. I think Eli's very good at music, so I think that this is his thing. You know? So, no, I will not be pursuing music, Jonathan. The hell?
We want to corroborate that the claims being made have legitimacy and merit. We have on staff now a former detective from the Major Offenders Unit of Houston Police Department who is helping us vet each.
We should all be able to find our own unique gifts and do them. You know what I mean? Like people can inspire us. We can look up to people, but we should become the people that we think are really cool. You know what I mean?
Claim.
And in your own thing, in your own gifts. That way everybody can get a lot more done. If we were all doing the same, it'd be boring.
We're using our common sense. We're being stringent because, as I said, these are not easy cases. They're very tough. The process is hard, and in some cases, the process is very lengthy. These cases are hard to prove. Many times, it's the victim's word against the alleged perpetrator. Each of these victims will no doubt be publicly attacked by the alleged perpetrators, and in some cases, the general public.
Yep.
The feckless and cowardly keyboard warriors love to attack.
Yes, they do.
We know what we're up against. We did not enter this fray blindly. I wish it was my last such fray. I wish this type of behavior wasn't so pervasive. But it is what it is, so we will press on. As I said, our law firms have been retained by 120 individuals at this point to pursue cases in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs. You should know, in this group, it is evenly divided between males and females. There are 60 males and 60 females who have joined us to pursue these claims as plaintiffs. In this group, 62% identify as African American, 30% are white, and the remainder are Hispanic or Asian. The victims are from more than 25 states. The majority are from California, New York, Georgia, and Florida. And I want to focus on the ages of these victims. When we talk about the ages of the victims when the conduct occurred, it's shocking.
I want you to listen to this. Listen to this right here.
Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old.
9 years old is the youngest victim. 9 years old.
We have an individual who was 14 years old. We have one
14.
who was 15.
15.
25 of the 120 individuals who are plaintiffs in these cases were minors at the time of the
25 in just this case. Just this case of victims coming forward, because there's going to be a lot, and there is a lot. But just in this particular group, 25 of the victims were minors when this shit went on.
acts complained of. The time frame of the acts complained of is very wide. The conduct at issue spans from the years 1991 all the way till this year, 2024. If you wonder why there are so many alleged victims, that's your answer. We're talking about more than 25 years of this type of conduct. Now, although most of the victims who have stepped forward were victimized after 2015, this has been going on for a very long time. Now, when you think about the fact that some of this conduct occurred 25 years ago,
Pity.
and you wonder why would it take somebody so long to step forward, I want to remind you that many states in the United States have recognized that it's very difficult for a victim to step forward and to make these types of allegations when something...
That's why a lot of states are putting survivor acts in to where, you know what I mean? You just because some places you have so much time to say something, but a lot of victims, number one, some victims don't realize that what's going on because they're so brainwashed in the situation. But a lot of times, also just for safety reasons, you can't speak up. And so by the time that certain things, time runs out, and that's bullshit, because if you understand the whole concept of everything, of course a lot of people don't speak up. I mean, shit. Look how people,
very terrible has happened to them. I'll use New York, the state of New York, as an example. The state of New York has specific statutes in place that revive claims that are even claims that would typically be not able to be brought.
Right.
That it revives such claims, and they can be brought even 25 to 30 years later.
Yep.
Because there's a recognition there in New York and California and other states that it's very difficult for a victim to come forward. And I would respectfully suggest the only reason many of these people are coming forward because they see other victims coming forward.
Yep. 100%.
And it gives them some comfort that, hey, I won't be the only one. And I expect more victims will come forward. There's an old saying that says, a lie has great speed, but truth has endurance. The acts complained of in these cases that we're going to file occurred primarily in New York, either Manhattan or the Hamptons, or occurred in California, primarily in Los Angeles, or in Florida, primarily in Miami. Most of these events and incidents occurred at parties, typically after parties, or album release parties, New Year's Eve parties, 4th of July parties, something they called a puppy party.
You're going to be a victim of timeout.
All-white party. Although several of these events occurred at auditions.
Celebrating 5
many
months.
times, especially young people wanting to break into the industry, were coerced into this type of conduct in the promise of being made a star, or in the promise of having Sean Combs listen to their tape, or even let them read for Sean Combs. You should know that some of this behavior occurred at well-known venues in New York City. Some of this behavior occurred at private residences of people that we all know. Some of this behavior occurred at hotels that we're all familiar with. You should know that more than 55% of the victims filed reported this conduct to either the authorities, that is the police, or to hospitals. We're in the process of collecting with our team assistants, medical records, reports that were made to the authorities. And I've already said that some...
Do you all remember how I've said that, victims have went to authorities and made reports and not gotten help?
Some of the individuals in this group did, in fact, talk to the FBI. You should know that several of the individuals, and when I say several, I mean many, who did, in fact, seek medical treatment, were drug tested, and drugs were found in their system, weird drugs that you probably never heard of. One in particular that continues to pop up is a drug called xylazine or trank, which, based on our research, is known as a horse tranquilizer.
Yep.
Now, there's been a lot of reports that we're filing a class action. This is not a class action. Class action is when one or two people file a case on behalf of a group of people. That's not this. These cases will be individual cases. Each case will live and die on its own merit. These cases will be filed individually, one plaintiff against whoever the defendants were involved in the case. Each case may be filed in one venue like California. Another case may be filed in New York. One case may sue just Sean Combs, but multiple other people. One case may sue a range of people. I would expect most, though, to be filed, as I said, in New York and Los Angeles. Now, I know this. Many of you came here thinking or hoping or perhaps believing that I may start naming names. Well, that day will come, but it won't be today. The day will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs, and there's a lot of names. It's a long list already. And of course, I already know who some of these individuals are, but because of the nature of this case, we're going to make damn sure that we're right before we do that. But the names that we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you. These are individual cases. There are indeed other perpetrators involved. They will be revealed when that particular individual case is ready to be filed. They already know who they are. And I'm talking here about not just the cowardly but complicit bystanders. That is, those people that we know watched this behavior occur and did nothing.
Right.
And I'm talking about the people that participated, encouraged it, egged it on. They know who they are. I call them the facilitators of foul play.
That's right.
Willing participants in vile conduct. As we identify them, each will be part of this case as defendants. These defendants will not only include individuals, but would also include corporate entities who ultimately profited off of this culture and behavior. I'm looking at banks, pharmaceutical companies, hotels. We know that many of these individuals were paid cash. We know that many of these individuals involved, whether they were the ones being assaulted and abused, or they're witnessing other people being assaulted and abused and then paid and threatened and told to leave. Typically paid 10 grand in cash and told to leave. And then threatened as they were leaving. So in addition to Sean Combs, you should know the defendants in these cases we're going to file will include anyone, of course, who engaged in the assault or exploitation, anyone who participated in such in any way, anyone who encouraged or facilitated this conduct, anyone who was in the room and watched it happen but made no effort to stop it, any venue or venue owner who was aware of what was going on but failed to stop it, any individual or entity who knew about the conduct and benefited from it but did nothing to report it or stop it, and any individual or entity who covered it up or helped cover it up. These people who know who they are should just come forward now. I would imagine, as we speak here, there are a myriad of people who are very nervous. You can't hide skeletons in the closet forever. I would expect there are many people out there right now who are desperately searching their memories as they delete their texts and data. Now, although these are, in fact, individual cases, there is a common theme, an MO, if you will. Typically, the victim is lured into a situation where he or she is given a drink. Typically, that drink, reported by these victims, is apparently laced with something. Once that drink takes effect, the perpetrators perform all kinds of sexual acts on the victims, many times passing him or her around, as other people watch and enjoy the show, and then leave the victim ashamed, confused, injured, and wondering what happened. When the victim reaches out, he or she is told not to say anything. Sometimes there are threats of physical violence or financial repercussions. bodily harm. The claims we intend to bring will include the following: violent sexual assault or rape, sexual abuse, facilitated sex with a controlled substance, false imprisonment, compelling prostitution, sexual misconduct, dissemination of video recordings, false imprisonment, sexual abuse of minors. Given the large volume of cases, and given our other docket obligations, and given the fact that we want to be sure when we file these cases that they are fully vetted, I expect we'll start filing these cases against Sean Combs and other perpetrators within the next 30 days. Now,
60 days,
it's
man.
rare, sexual abuse, sexual exploitation, this type of activity is pervasive in our society, and it's rare we get a chance where we can really focus on this as a country and really focus on this about how pervasive this is and what we can, collectively can do about it. So I thought I'd take this opportunity before I go into some of the individual cases and talk about some of the individual claims being made and so you'll get a sense of what this 120 people group looks like individually. I want to bring forward Carrie Paul. She's a national victim advocate who helps victims who have been victimized by this type of conduct. And she has some important words, and I hope you'll pay close attention. I think it's important that you hear from her.
Hello, I'm Carrie Paul with the National Victim Advocate. It's not easy for any survivor to come forward. Our culture doesn't believe survivors. It blames and questions them. Instead of showing support, many choose to enable abusers.
Yep.
The media runs stories asking why it took so long for survivors to come forward instead of asking what barriers exist. We also don't equip law enforcement with the ability to handle sexual assault crimes. Lack of funding translates to lack of training. We have officers in the field that don't know what to say to a rape victim.
Right.
And also an alarming amount of backlogged,
What's up,
untested rape kits.
100%.
Prosecutors are focused on what they can prove in a case,
So
and
for
if
anyone
so,
that's just
how
joining,
to
this is a press conference that happened earlier today that has more, I think it's 120 victims. They're going to be filing some suits. 25 of these victims were minors when it happened. So the youngest victim in this group of lawsuits that'll be coming out was 9 years old. There's a 14-year-old also.
do that at time of trial. Advocates and staff are stretched thin with growing caseloads in the criminal justice system. Most people don't know
Hey, Shelley.
how the criminal justice works in general. There isn't enough staff or resources to adequately explain the entire process to every victim and survivor. Our culture works against victims and survivors every day, and abusers know this. Abusers work themselves into positions of power, building a public image that is trusted and financially large enough to make people look away. Abusers are unfortunately very skilled at power and control, the foundation of abuse. They seek victims who are vulnerable, such as children, their employees, and their intimate partners, all who see a different version than the public does, all who rely on the abuser in some way. And for those that do come forward and aren't believed, face questions like, are you sure it happened that way? Were you drinking? What were you wearing? All of this creates an environment that enables abusers to continue abusing them and future victims. To the survivors that have come forward despite not being believed at some point in time, your courage is like nothing we have seen before. We thank you for coming forward for yourself and all survivors. And lastly, I want all survivors that are watching this to know we believe you and we support you. Thank you.
100%.
I want you now to hear from my co-counsel, Andrew Van Arsdale. We've created a sexual abuse hotline, and I want him to visit with us just a few moments about how that works and the kind of volume of calls we've received.
Thank you, Tony. Like Tony said, my name is Andrew Van Arsdale. I'm the managing partner of ABA Law Group. We have offices in California, Montana, and North Carolina. To build off of what you just so well said, it's very hard to come forward. And given what we've experienced the past 10 days is really unprecedented in my career, at least. We represent thousands of survivors of abuse. And never, ever in a 10-day period have we seen over 3,000 people come forward, where we've confirmed and decided to investigate and represent 120 people, while we're continuing to work through another 100 plus cases to prove them up, to validate what had happened here, and to hold those that are responsible accountable. And so like Tony said, we've set this up. It's 1-800-200-7474. I have a team of people standing by, literally. If you know that this happened to someone and you have information about it, please contact us. If this happened to you, come forward. There's attorney-client privilege here. What you tell us is in confidence. Yes, we'll have to go out and build your case, but we will protect you. And the other thing that I want to say is the pattern and practice of this, again, is unprecedented. Over 30 plus years of the same sort of events happening, people thrust into the circle reportedly, and horrible things happening to them as a result. And from talking to these people that have come forward these past 10 days, I can tell you unequivocally that because the federal government did what it needed to do and indicted this man, that they put him in jail and a judge kept him in jail. They tell me directly, this validates my feelings. For so long, I thought it was my fault. What is it about me that put myself in that scenario? What was I wearing at the time? What did I do to be subjected to such horrific treatment at these people that I was trying to trust? Well, we know now it was not your fault. You were victimized by a group of powerful people that operated for 30 plus years, taking advantage of their wealth and the power that they held within the music industry. So again, thank you to every single person that has come forward and contacted our office over the past 10 days. If you or someone you know suffered the same sort of treatment, please contact us at the number behind me and we will help you. Thank you.
I think it speaks to how important this issue is in the United States and frankly internationally, that we have reputable people here that want to provide kind of information that I think victims need to hear, witnesses need to hear, the public needs to hear. Right. Let me introduce to you now Olivia Rivers from the Texas.
And for every survivor, every victim throughout the last fucking decade that has came up, spoke up, stood up, shout out to all of them too, because I promise you, that's what makes victims stronger, is survivors that continue to speak up. And these victims that are speaking up here, keep them covered in good energy and prayer, because society sucks.
Association Against.
And once these lawsuits start getting filed and people start seeing what's going on, it's ridiculous.
sexual assault
The shit they'll
and
go
let her
through.
visit with you a few moments about these types of cases.
And mind you, the shit they've already gone through because they went to hospitals, they went to authorities, they've, you know what I mean? So, and didn't always get the help they needed. So, but there's records of things, so that's a good thing.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Q Olivia Rivers. I am just served my 6th year as the board chair for the Texas Association Against Sexual Assault. I'm also the CEO for the Bridge Over Troubled Waters, which is a local rape crisis center here in the Houston area. So thank you for being here as we address these heinous crimes. Sexual assault is not just a crime of violence against the body. It's an assault on the very essence of human dignity and safety. It shatters lives, it destroys confidence, and all too often, it leaves survivors feeling like they are voiceless, isolated, and vulnerable. The reality for many survivors is that coming forward to report their assault is one of the most difficult and daunting tasks that they will ever have to do. And for some, it may take days, months, or even years to speak up, if they ever do. The reasons for this have been mentioned, but include the fear of being disbelieved, being blamed or judged, and, of course, retaliation. The trauma of the assault itself being compounded by the trauma of the criminal justice process, where survivors must relive their experience in order to seek justice. And these feelings and fears are further exacerbated when the allegations are against prominent figures in the entertainment industry or Hollywood. Cases involving powerful figures often attract significant media attention, which can deter victims from coming forward due to fear of public exposure or scrutiny. The intense focus on these high-profile cases can make survivors feel that their personal lives are being put under a microscope, causing further emotional distress. These allegations mentioned here today, as reported, reflect deeply troubling claims that deserve thorough investigation, and no individual, regardless of their stature, is above the law or public accountability. Sadly, the statistics paint a very disturbing picture. According to the National Sexual Violence Resource Center, 1 in 3 women and 1 in 6 men will experience some form of sexual violence in their lifetime. In the U.S. alone, there are approximately 463,000 victims of rape or sexual assault every year, and these numbers barely scratch the surface, as sexual violence remains one of the most underreported crimes. But the numbers that follow tell an even more troubling story. Only about 23% of sexual assaults are reported to law enforcement. Of those, just 5% lead to an arrest, and even fewer, less than 1% of reported cases, ever result in a conviction, which is a devastating gap between the crime and the justice that survivors deserve. I want to briefly focus on our state here in Texas. According to the Texas Association Against Sexual Assault, 6.3 million Texans, men and women, will experience some form of violence. That's every 2 minutes someone is sexually assaulted, meaning during the course of this press conference, around 60 individuals will forever be changed by this violence. And those are just a few of the victims. Obviously, this is unacceptable. We cannot allow this cycle of silence and inaction to continue. We have to create an environment where survivors feel empowered to come forward, where they are met with empathy and respect and support, not skepticism and blame. We have to ensure that our legal system is equipped to handle these cases with the seriousness they deserve, and that survivors have access to the resources that they need beyond the legal courtroom. We have to address the root causes of this epidemic: prevention, awareness, and fostering environments where respect, consent, and safety are non-negotiable values. Additionally, support for survivors has to be holistic. They have to have access to counseling, medical services, legal advocacy, and of course, community support, regardless of whether they choose to report or not.
It's disgusting. This morning when I was listening to it, and I mean, like, I think we've all realized, I mean, just from some of the celebrities that we've seen, that there was definitely people that this happened to when they were minors. You know what I mean? 9 years old, though. 9 years old.
Every survivor who has come forward, your bravery is an inspiration. To those who are still grappling with their decision, know that you are not alone and that your voice matters. Your story matters. We see you, we believe you, and we are committed to fighting for a future where sexual violence...
This is just one group of, like, lawyers, right? There are other... How can I say this? Other even smaller groups that will also be filing and have filed. So, you know what I mean? Like, there's all kinds of people coming forward, and there's a lot of people. You really need to pay attention to who's being quiet.
Is no longer tolerated.
And who's making excuses.
And where justice is not the exception, but the standard. Thank you.
I want to visit with you real quickly before we close here about some specific instances without disclosing the victim's name. You probably know that depending on the age of the victim, you can file these cases, these individual cases, under Jane Doe or John Doe. Each state is different in that respect. Typically, there is a balancing test, like the public's right to know the name of the victim and plaintiff versus the confidentiality and the safety of the plaintiff. So we'll have to struggle with that with each one of these cases. Our intention, of course, is to, like we always do, file these cases under a pseudonym until the court tells us otherwise. But let me share with you a few just.
That's a very smart idea to protect the victims, because I mean, we've seen time and time again that in chats and panels and society and real, you know what I mean, offline, like, victims get shamed. People want to tear their life apart. People want to pick apart their stories and say what's their fault, and, like, you know, a lot of victim blaming is a society. We do that, and we all make excuses for the predators and the abusers. It's just still mind-blowing that in 2024 that this is a conversation we're still having. But oh, please, no, it is.
I'm going to give you a sense of the kind of cases and the kind of instances that people are calling and reporting that we are trying to corroborate, vet, and these are the ones that we've already corroborated.
I started out with the press conference that happened today. There is, and Christy broke it down actually in the chat just now, 120 victims, 25 minors. Youngest one is 9 years old. So this is a press conference of one of the lawyers, or a group of lawyers, that'll be handling 120 cases that they're going to be dealing with. Then we're going to listen to a couple other just little update videos that I found that I think we need to hear. Especially, yeah.
Vetted and collected evidence on. One individual who was 22 years at the time she was assaulted said that the typical MO at one of these parties that have been widely discussed in the press was that when you were handed a drink, and now we know that the drink is laced with something, if you refused to drink it, you were kicked out of the party. Now, let that sink in for a minute. I mean, the admission to this party was that you had to drink the chosen drink that was handed to you. And now we know that in most cases, I would say 90% of the cases, these individuals were drugged with some sort of drug. That was kind of the MO. Another instance, this individual who was 9 years old at the time was taken to an audition in New York City with Bad Boy Records. Other boys were there to audition as well. All of them were trying to land a record deal. All of them were minors. This individual was sexually abused, allegedly by Sean Combs and several other people at the studio, in the promise to both his parents and to him himself of getting a record deal. Another instance.
So on that situation, if you followed this case and you listen to some of the things that have came up, there has been incidents with victims, minor victims, that's been talked about, where, just like he said in this lawsuit, they're in the studio, and not only P. Diddy, but other people are also abusing them. I do believe it's Justin Bieber that has a video where they're like trying to kiss him in his mouth and shit. And I mean, they all joke around. They think it's funny. They think it's cute. During interviews, they joke about it. Well, let's see who gets a laugh. I think I understand why I've been divorced. Jen, recently, that Jen Gardner was trying to make house calls to. Yeah, I think both of them are toxic. I don't think Ben's any better than Jen. To be honest.
Another minor told, allegedly by Sean Combs, that he would make him a star, but he needed a visit with him in private about it, away from his parents. Once they were in a private area, allegedly Mr. Combs made the victim perform oral sex upon him.
Yeah, she's being investigated, and from my understanding, from what I hear, allegedly from little rumors on the street, she's actually kind of helping him. Still.
Another incident. An individual, 15 years old at the time, flown to New York City to attend a party, was drugged, and then taken into a private room, allegedly in the presence of Mr. Combs, where this female individual, minor, was raped, and then other individuals took turns raping her. Another individual, 26 at the time of the occurrence, was picked up by, allegedly, by Mr. Combs and several other people in a black SUV from the airport.
Yeah, I agree, Trina, 100%. I think they're all just toxic as fuck. Like, I really do. And I think there's a lot of shit that's going to come out on even them. You know what I mean? So I don't, I know a lot of people are like, oh, Team Ben, he divorced Jen and da 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 da. Both them bitches, and I'm talking about both Jens, are shady. And I'm just like, I think Ben Affleck is just as, I'm sure he's been to some of these parties, or maybe not this group, but maybe yeah. I just
was given one drink in the SUV and then literally woke up the next day not knowing what had happened, but with pain and damage to both her vagina and her anus, where she then went to the hospital. She was missing her underwear and her shoes. Another instance, individual, this time not a minor, was attended a group dinner, allegedly with Sean Combs in Miami. She wasn't drinking because she was pregnant, but whatever she drank at the table, apparently, at least according to her, was laced with something. She blacked out, and she woke up in the same bed, again, allegedly, with Mr. Combs in his mansion in Miami. Her vagina and her anus.
Make sure you hit the thumbs up. And again, trigger warning for all this. Obviously, these kind of cases, there's going to be things that are going to be talked about, and I understand that they're uncomfortable. But coming from someone that survived shit like this, it's time for you people to be fucking uncomfortable. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but it's time for everybody to be uncomfortable.
Were torn and sore.
And start speaking up.
And I could go on.
Standing against this shit, and not just using it as conversational pieces.
Literally, you're sensing a theme
and most
here.
Most of the people here already do that. It's the people that may hear this or may be lurking and jerking. You know what I mean?
It's the same theme, and it all involves some sort of drug. One instance, an individual who was 20 years old at the time was asked to attend, just saw her on the street, asked to attend.
100%. And Chrissy's been listening. Get it, girl. I love you guys. Yes, 100%. This is not a lot of people. Even I think I might have said it last night, because when I first heard about it, I heard it as in a class action suit. They made sure, they specifically said this is not a class action suit. Ugh, tongue twister. All 120 cases are being treated individually, and he expects more cases. I think he said Chrissy, what they say? They interviewed 3,000, and so far have 120 that they're going to represent individually, not a class action. It's no wonder people for the last year said Hollywood is sinister. Yep. Hey. We thought we were going to get this. Bruno, what's up, baby? We thought we were going to get this in the Epstein. I'm telling y'all, this is going to be big. This is way bigger than Epstein. And this crosses over and even the Fed said it during the press conference. I'm going to keep reminding you all. This is not just musician. This is not even just Hollywood, baby. This is Wall Street. This is political. This is this is overseas. The Feds went across to the UK and interviewed some victims and got some victim statements, right? Oh, if you didn't, they did.
Party in a hotel. She was flattered, went to the party, was given one drink and doesn't remember anything else. Ultimately, was so messed up, went to the hospital.
He's worse than, 100%. He's worse than all of them, in my opinion. And the people around it. I know, you know what? I don't know if it's worse, because I'm not going to discredit any of the victims in any of these cases, because it's their worst, right? I will just say that there are more, it's a bigger playing field than we've seen. There's been, all these little things leading up. Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, Weinstein, even Epstein. We thought Epstein was big, and why Epstein is big, and there's still a lot of shit that they're not putting out there from Epstein. This crossovers in every black, white, Latina, poor community, rich community, music community, sports community, Wall Street community, politicians, all of them. This is the shit we all been talking about.
Hospital where they found cocaine and this horse train.
100%. Like I always say, people are like, oh, sometimes victims or whatever. Yeah, we have a lot of shit we have to deal with for the rest of our lives. There's certain things that there's victims are never going to be able to get over. Some will never get over night terrors. Some will never get over the fear of being hunted. Some will, it's shit that you have to live with. These motherfuckers can, go on about their day and continue to abuse people. And as we've seen, what I like what this lawyer is talking about is not just the people that participated, also the people that stand by and provoked and watched this shit. Yeah, you should go down too, motherfuckers.
In her blood system. I'm going to give you a quote from a very young man who told us over the phone about his experience and all the things that happened to him. He says allegedly at the hands of Sean Diddy Combs and his friends in the effort to try to sign a record deal. This was kind of what he was told he would have to do. His quote is, "Had he not been in power, I feel like I could have been something great. I quit the industry because of what Sean Combs did to me." And that's really what it comes down to. We are pursuing this, asking you to support this effort, to encourage witnesses and victims to come forward and bring your evidence so we can continue to break down this wall of silence and we can continue to have these stories heard. This is the beginning of what I hope to be a
100%. 2024, baby, I see you.
National dialogue. This type of sexual assault, sexual abuse, and sexual exploitation should never happen in the United States or anywhere else. This should have never been allowed to go on for so long. This conduct has created a mass of individuals who are injured, scared, and scarred. If you're one of those individuals, we ask you to reach out. If not to us, to someone you trust. If you're someone who witnessed any of these events.
Because I can promise you, to any survivors, victims out there, whether it be this case or any other case, there is a fucking movement of warriors going on that are supporting. So just as many people that want to judge and pick apart your stories and make you feel like it's your fault, understand that there's a huge army of survivors and people that, yeah, we're not dealing with none of that shit. And I know in my community, I'm 10 toes down with victims. We don't play that shit. They gonna get help in any form they see they need it.
We ask you to reach out. Your name can remain confidential.
I agree, Trina.
To that, I'll take a few questions, not many, maybe two.
There'll be still those ones that are the puppet masters and all this, and unfortunately, I don't think any of them will get busted. They should, but you know what I mean. But we're making progress, because even 10 years ago, 15 years ago, yeah, conversations like this didn't even happen. That's why this shit's been allowed to get away with for so long. Well, every dog has their fucking day.
But if you have a question, I'll be pleased to try to answer it.
All right.
Perfect.
How many minors are making accusations in total, and are the feds aware of the allegations of minors in the case?
I don't know what the feds are aware of, okay? But I do know it's 25 out of this 120.
Antonio,
I will say this to that point. We welcome the FBI or any authority who wants to come to us, and we're going to make that available to these victims, because I think that's important. My suspicion is, based on talking with these folks, is that the FBI is just not aware of these people. The FBI has talked to some of these folks, and I'm going to try to encourage the victims to, in fact, talk to the FBI, because I think they have some very important things to say.
Tony, were all of the children auditioning because they were musicians, or were any of them kids of employees or anything like that?
All seeking either TV or some sort of music career with promises of, we're going to make you a star. Instead, basically did things to them such that they don't want to have anything to do with the entertainment industry ever again. All right, guys. Thank you very much for your attention. We're going to go now.
All right. So that was one thing that we're going to listen to. I have some other little videos that I listen to, a chick, and she's always putting really good shit out.
Hey guys, let's get right into this. There has just been a live that the attorney that is representing 120 clients has made about Diddy. We did a 2-hour live. There's a lot of detail, but for those of you guys just want to recap, let's get into all the claims, including the most groundbreaking.
Listen to that. Alrighty. So this is a video that I listened to the other day. Definitely, again, if you're following this case and you're listening to the things and you're doing your own research, because I don't care that you guys hear it from me. I mean, I'm not going to feed any crock of shit, but at the same time, I always tell people, do your own research too. So this is Diddy's ex-assistant. So there is a lady that was Capricorn, what that was the assistant, and a lot of different things happened. And I just think it's important because, and in this situation, she is also a victim of Diddy's, and some of Diddy and Cassie's stuff, like fights and different things like that, unfortunately kind of bleeded over in her life, and her career was ruined. She was beaten really bad. So this is just something that I think is important to listen to, because it kind of gives you an idea of, again, this power and control, all these different things that he's been doing behind the scenes. So we're going to listen to that. All in all, I believe these victims, Justin Bieber was very much victimized as a child. Yeah, 100%. And unfortunately, he still has some healing to do. You know what I mean? I don't think he's ready, even close to being ready, of really truly speaking out on things. I think that which he has this right. He has every right, and every victim, however they choose to handle their stuff, 100% have the right to do that. They don't have to speak up. I think it would be very powerful, but if he does, when he does, it's in his timing. But I don't think anybody doubts that something and lots of somethings happened to that young man and Bow Wow. So all right, so we're going to listen to this and see what
you see why she got so much animosity. Allegedly, according to Suge Knight, y'all come and sit down and shut the door. We got some more juice on Diddy. Remember that girl that we were talking about yesterday, Capricorn Clark, who has been, it looks like, throwing shade at Cassie, but then when you find out why, you see why she got so much animosity. Allegedly.
And I understand why, because like sometimes everybody can be victims, and sometimes in a situation, or some people can be victims, and sometimes victims can get upset with other victims because sometimes because of their victim stuff, then other people are also made victims. So I never get upset at other victims. I think that that are upset with, both of them being abused in some sense, or one being, however people choose to look at it. I understand, I guess is what I'm trying to say, between advocacy and my own shit, you know what I mean? Because like there were times that and throughout my life, and I had to work through certain things. I held a lot of hatred towards certain people because I felt like if it wasn't for their shit, then I wouldn't have gotten into some shit, or, got hurt. But within time and with healing, and you understand that, you're both victims, and there's really nothing, you can't really help each other sometimes when you're both victims, especially of the same abuser. But okay, I'm gonna carry on. Let this video play.
According to Suge Knight, go watch my video on it. I posted it yesterday, okay?
And if you don't know who Suge Knight is, you should go do a YouTube search and start listening to some of his shit, because he's been making a lot of phone calls and been spilling a lot of shit.
Suge Knight said that Capricorn Clark basically got the Cassie treatment. Diddy laid paws on her. And she is still going at it, calling out everybody in the record industry and literally saying the last 11 years of her life, she's had to deal with everyone's nonsensical allegiance to the devil. Y'all, we are going to get into that. I'll give you a little bit of background, but also, y'all, if Diddy knew what was good for him, and I'm not saying he's behind this because this is all alleged, he hasn't been found guilty in the court of law. This is my opinion. Let me know your opinion in the comments respectfully. But y'all, honestly, I know Diddy is sitting here telling everybody in his camp, please stop defending me. Please stop defending me. The latest person to literally get up and pledge their allegiance to, according to Capricorn Clark, the devil Diddy is who's it? John Legend's ex-manager. And also, she worked for Bad Boy Records for a long time. She's out here on Twitter trying to go in on Jaguar Wright and defending Diddy. You know you are on the wrong side of history.
So she's dropping some key names if you want to go and listen to your own stuff. Jaguar Wright is a young lady that has been speaking up from the very beginning about all of this stuff. And so the people that I listen to, this is just me. The people that I listen to, number one, are victims that are speaking up. Number two are people that were there. People that were bodyguards, people that were interns, people that were, you know what I mean? Like, they're there. That actually seen things and experienced things. I think in these kind of things, it's important to do that. So what I usually do is if I'm listening to something and I hear some names, I'll jot those names down, and then I'll go and do my own little research to see what, and Cat Williams, Wendy Williams. I mean, there's a core of people that have been speaking up on this for a long time, and that are very credible because they've been there or they were even victims in some situations of maybe not sexual stuff, maybe sexual stuff, maybe it was, just verbal or physical abuse or whatever, because this guy's got his hands fucking in all kinds of shit, as we've talked about. So anyway, so when I'm listening to people, that's how, like, I like her because she does a bunch of different clips of things that, I've also went and checked to make sure, because just because somebody sounds good on YouTube, and that's why I tell y'all, search your own shit, even shit that you hear from my channel. And that way you can learn how to research, because knowledge is power. Remember that.
When at the end of the day, almost everything that Jaguar said has proven to have some validity to it. Granted, I don't know everything she said, but the things I heard seem to have some validity. Y'all, we gonna get into these tweets. Is this the...
Speaking of Cat Williams, Susan, rumor allegedly has it that Diddy put a hit out on Cat after his Shay Shay interview. Again, we'll see. But there is an indictment that kind of, there is a charge or whatever you want to call it in the indictment that kind of alerts to that. So I'm just saying.
Best key PR campaign that Diddy can do. And after everything that we found out about Cassie, why are you still trying to defend this man? I know Diddy feels like, shh, please, beloved, just please be quiet. But you know what?
No, now this is where I disagree with her. I don't think he is. I think he's like, yeah, tell him I didn't have nothing to do with this, because I can beat this. I'm going to beat this. And when I get, reminds me of someone else. I'm gonna come after all of you motherfuckers. So yeah, no, I don't think he's like, oh, please everybody be quiet. Please don't try to defend me. No, I think he's like, hey motherfuckers, y'all ain't defending me, y'all ain't speaking up, y'all motherfuckers was with me when all this shit was going on. You ain't got my back now? Okay, cool. I'm gonna beat this shit and I'm gonna come after all y'all. That's what I think he's thinking. That's just my opinion. People are really going to freak out when they found out about, honey, listen, Trina, I don't think they're ready. I've been saying this for a long time. I don't think they're ready. I stopped even naming names and certain things that I've seen at different parties and, whatever. Because if you don't know, I am a human trafficking survivor. I am an ex-call girl. I worked in the industry. So, you just, now it's like, I don't even bring names up anymore. I just sit back and I watch, because I'm watching all this shit unfold. And honey, you better clutch your pearls, baby, because I don't think some of y'all ready for this.
This is how Diddy was able to get on with it for all these many years because everybody was defending him. All right, y'all, let's actually get
And
into
each one of these names that come out and people know and people understand and people have experienced, we sitting back like, I told you so. You should have fucking listened to us.
this because, yeah, it's a mess. Okay. So, if you guys want to know who Capricorn Clark is, watch my old video. I'm just joking, right? If you guys want to know who actually Capricorn Clark is, she was at one time Diddy's loyal personal assistant for a few years. She also was assistant, so to speak, to Cassie, helped out with Cassie. On top of that, she is rumored to be Lauren London's real sister, play sister, definitely BFF. They were as tight as can be. Now, when you look online, there's a lot of conflicting reports about whether she is actually Lauren London's blood sister. That doesn't take away from the fact of the atrocity that happened to her. Just real quick, Lauren London, she is a notoriously tight-lipped about her family. You cannot find on Google searches, at least, who her daddy is, who her mama is. She's rumored to have a little brother. Maybe she doesn't. Listen, at the end of the day, her and Capricorn Clark are tight. Why is that important? Because it led to her association with Lauren London and by proxy being cool with Cassie and knowing what's going on in Cassie's life literally led to one of the vicious, most violent beat downs that she has ever had, that she says that haunted her and made her life hell in 2011. Suge Knight in his jailhouse phone calls, because Suge is giving up tapes. Go watch the old video if you want to see what was said, right? Suge Knight literally said that when Diddy found out that Cassie was messing with Kid Cudi, he told Cassie, I'm going to teach him a lesson. I'm going to blow his car up in the driveway.
Now, if you all remember, there is a thing in the indictment where they talk about arson. Well, Trina, you can come here anytime you want, sweetie, because I promise you, we don't stop talking about this shit. And I share, I even like last night I did a live, and I try to do, because I'm a huge advocate now for anti-human trafficking. I used to run a shelter, I do a lot of work in my community and really nationally as well. I went to the Maxwell trial. I've spoken at the UN. I've helped with some legislation, and I'm not bragging. I'm just putting a thing out saying, hey, I kind of use my experiences to do the work. And also on here, I try to, because some people don't understand the language and maybe not understand what certain things mean. And I have no problem. Yeah, Nipsey Hussle is dead. But yes, it was Lauren is his girlfriend.
But I'm going to wait until everybody,
London, whatever,
his friends and stuff are over.
I have a TBS, so I get names mixed up, y'all. But y'all know what I'm talking about. Stick with me.
10 days later, after he told Cassie, the car went kaboom. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why did he not get arrested for that? But this lets you know the level of power that Puffy had back then. Right. Because even Kid Cudi, who was involved with that, literally shut up and put his head down because he did not want to go against who was one of the people who was the most powerful man in the recording industry at that time. Puffy could make or break a career, and nobody wanted to go against him. So, where are we at?
Thank you, beautiful.
The car goes kaboom, but Puffy wasn't done.
I have throughout my videos, I think it's on my upload videos, and I think I have some live, but it's probably way back. But anyway, we went to the Maxwell, when she was in trial and stuff, and we did a rally outside. And we will be in New York, and we will be showing up, because that's what the fuck we do. We support survivors nationally, so there'll be a bunch of us that'll be coming to New York soon. We're going to invade it again. I actually like invading New York. It's kind of fun.
When Puffy found out that this according to Suge Knight, when Suge Knight is alleging that when Puffy found out after he blew up the car, he literally delivered a beat down to Cassie. Literally. But get this, he also turned his anger to Capricorn Clark. Because in his mind, Capricorn Clark knew what was going on with Cuddy and Cassie trying to talk. And she knew because Lauren London was the nexus. And on top of that, he erupted in rage for her allowing to happen. Even though people are saying Capricorn Clark only turned the other way. She was viciously assaulted, worse than Cassie ever has been. So bad that she got a settlement from the Puffy's record company, not Bad Boy, but the parent company, got a settlement from it.
Think about that. Think about that. So here's the record company, because that's what they do, settling to make it not a big deal. And for them to do something like that, you know it was an issue. They do it all the time, by the way, just in case you didn't know that.
How bad she was injured. It took her forever to heal. On top of that, to add insult to injury, it is rumored that Puffy then let rumors be released that the reason she was fired was because she had been stealing money from him. Could you imagine being brutalized and then somebody spreading that? True to that rumor, she was basically blacklisted from being an assistant or being in the industry again. Again, let's not forget, Puffy had the power to ruin people's lives.
100%, and he did that a lot. There were a lot of people that if you did not do what he wanted you to do, if you did not act the way he wanted you to act, if you whatever, you know, I mean, this woman, she got her ass beat because. So for those that don't know, Cassie was trying to separate herself from P. Diddy, you know what I mean? And I think she was working out and shit with Kid Cudi and whatever. They were talking a little bit. Well, Capricorn, I guess, P. Diddy feels like that she knew about it and she didn't tell him. So he beat her into her fucking life. He blew up. He told Cassidy, hey, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to blow this dude's car up or have it blown up, allegedly. Have it blown up. Why? Him and his boys are sitting in the house just to show him I don't give a fuck. Then he went back after he had that done and beat the shit out of Cassidy. So, yeah, very violent. People end up unalived and everything around this clown.
Capricorn Clark also tweeted some mess about Cassie a couple of weeks ago where people actually thought that she was throwing shade. Hold on, let's get into it. The gist of her shade was saying, right? You gotta be willing to walk away from the money. She said, don't take the path of the wicked. Don't follow those who do the devil. Stay away from that path. Don't even go near it. Turn around and go another way. Doors be unlocked. You gotta be willing to walk away from the money. Full stop. 2011 is hell. She basically said that she walked away from the money, but Cassie was tempted by the devil. Again, this may or may not be true, and honestly, it sounds like the relationship between Cassie and Capricorn Clark was very complicated. Capricorn Clark, allegedly, according to Suge, suffered a violent beating, all because Cassie and what she was doing, and on top of that, Capricorn Clark walked away from the money, okay? Cassie refused to do that in any way, shape, or form. All right, y'all. Well, guess what? She actually tweeted again. And this time she went in. She literally said every black woman she said black women end up being the sacrifice for the effery. The last 11 years of my life, I had to deal with everyone's nonsensical allegiance to the devil. I pray that ends. I don't think highly of any of you. Can't keep your head down.
And these are tweets that she has tweeted. It's on Twitter. I actually went and looked at it myself as well.
And pretend ish is cool. No more. Do better. She also went on to say, they will...
And she has every right to feel the way she feels.
Skin you and wear you, baby girl, then pretend they never even wanted the skin. Kim was the only person who didn't switch up. The only one. Dark times. I'm personally very triggered. I pray it's over. I never deserved this. Stop. She put protect black women in real life and R.I.P. Kim. I do find it interesting, right? That at the end of the day, people...
100%. They have been... And that's what I try to explain to people, because a lot of people were like, and of course, being the narcissistic he is, right, Trina? he's like, oh, I'm going to move to New York so I can cooperate with, like, you know, the feds and everything. And I'm going to turn myself in and I've got this. I'm manipulating this whole situation. I'm controlling this whole situation. So he thought. And a lot of people were like, oh, well, Summer, they picked him up because they're scared of him being a flight risk. No, they're not. No, they're not. That's not why they picked him up. He was all around New York, and it looked like he was having a good time, hanging with his friends and all that. But you know what him and his friends were doing? They were intimidating witnesses. They were trying to bribe them. They were trying to do everything they can to get them to go, shush, shush. So the feds found out about it because those victims came forward with text messages and everything. And they went and picked him up. And they also picked him up because if the feds pick you up, they can hold you without a bond. If you turn yourself in, this is a little nugget for y'all that may not know. But if they pick you up, they can hold your bond. If you turn yourself in, then you're pretty much guaranteed a bond. So just throw that out there.
Up for Cassie really, really hard. I do find it and rightfully so, okay? This isn't the oppression Olympics, but I do find it hard that Capricorn went through this. Everybody knew allegedly she went there. She seems to be confirming everything Suge says. But at the end of the day, she is saying everyone's nonsensical allegiance to the devil. She is talking about Cassie. She is talking about the head of security. She is talking about the people now coming out being like, oh my God. She said that literally Kim was the only one who didn't switch up.
I'm always going to talk my shit, so you know I'm going to make sure that, plus, I'm on the National Survivorship, so some of my information is coming straightly from New York. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, y'all, like, I'm going to do my best to always bring fucking facts and not make excuses. Even if I get shit wrong sometimes, just bear with me. I think my biggest thing is sometimes I forget names because of my TBI, but I got a team that helps me with that too.
The only one that didn't sell out for Puffy's money.
Looking for victims to... Yeah, 100%. Yep. I think it was... Let me think. Hold on. And again, y'all know I'm bad with numbers because it's been a couple days. I think there was 100 and some odd texts, phone texts sent to different victims trying to intimidate them and bribe them.
Only one that tried to stick to what was right. Now, you can take that with a grain of salt, but given the alleged complicated history that Clark feels toward Cassie, I think it's like, you know what? Just like I didn't tell Cassie who to feel, at the end of the day, Cassie and Diddy's relationship actually spilled over into Clark's real life and had consequences on her money, on her body, and her mental health. Okay? Cassie has not responded. We don't know. And to be honest with you, I don't actually know if she's actually talking about Cassie specifically, but it seemed like she took enough shots that it is. She also might be talking about Diddy's head of security. The guy that was named in the lawsuit that just basically announced yesterday that Diddy needed to pay him off when he said, because I have 2 daughters and I need to do what's best for my daughters. And I said, boy, if you don't go sit down, how do you have 2 daughters and you need to go do what's best for your daughters? But when Cassie was being literally dog walked, and I'm not even doing that to be disrespectful, I mean it to say how disgusting what he did to her was, okay? The bodyguard literally didn't say anything. This was Diddy's former head of security who Cassie says cried with her after witnessing the abuse. Imagine the head of security seeing a grown man do that to someone and even witness after that and just cry with her. He said, I seen it, I saw it, and was involved with it for years. He said, this is not meant to be threats or snitching or anything like that against Cassie or Diddy or anyone else. This is me telling my truth as I truly remember it for 2 reasons. One, because I have 4 daughters, so on all dudes, my truth has seen it, saw it, and was involved with it for years. It was Roger Bonds. He was also named in Diddy's lawsuit. Now, again, to me, y'all talk about these women taking cash grabs. Maybe I'm misinterpreting what he's saying, but it sounds to me like he wants Diddy to pay him off and letting everybody else know I am available for testimony. Because it's funny how you stayed quiet until you saw how much money was flowing, and you're doing it for your daughters. Man, shut up. How old are these girls? I bet you some of them were alive while Cassie was with Diddy. But anyway, let's also get into the way Diddy's people need to be quiet. And when I say quiet, they need to be quiet. At the end of the day, okay, it seems like Diddy's troops are rallying.
No. Don't let them be quiet. Keep letting them talk. They doing a fantastic job. Let them motherfuckers talk.
To try to say that, like, oh, well, all these people making up lies, blah, 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 blah. She literally actually tweeted about Erica. If you guys don't know Erica, she was a bridesmaid at Kimora Lee Simmons. Her and Kim Porter were both bridesmaids at Kimora Lee Simmons' wedding. So what happened? Both of them died under very mysterious circumstances. And a lot of people wanted to bring that up. So Naomi Cochran had something to say about attention because, yeah, it's all in the name of. So she said, of course, Erica was bipolar. She took her own blank. Her parents, like many black parents, didn't want that in the papers. But if you even search her name on Twitter, it was known. Again, Naomi, who are you to actually put out someone's information like this? Some real information to go after Jaguar Wright? She said, now Jaguar Wright's A done got a hold of it and is retelling the story on the Clock app with this Unsolved Mystery A music. This does not honor Erica. Neither does what you just said. Bling came out before Puff even started dating Cassie. Now, I do want to say one thing about Bling. Erica even tweeted herself that the protagonist was a mixture of basically Puffy and I'm guessing maybe Russell Simmons. I don't know. I do know this. She tweeted herself that the protagonist of Bling and the girl, Mimi, okay, literally reminded her of the Puff Diddy situation. I'm sorry, the Puff Cassie situation, Diddy Cassie situation so bad. Again, it was based on Puff, and this goes on the show that Diddy basically might be the same person in every relationship. It don't matter who he is with. They also went on to say, and despite all the Kimora's best friend setup, people just keep skipping right over the fact Russell was right there as source material. But also, she was also a bridesmaid. Like, okay. And I DM'd the person who first did the thread to tell them all of this last Thursday night and Friday when I first saw it. It didn't matter. How does it not bother you to unearth the names of these souls y'all don't know ish about except the most tenuous of connections? Just to, she's not done, just to have something to say. Meanwhile, there are real people being re-traumatized and upset because somewhere the lines of actual and real life have been blurred and folks act like people you've never seen in person with your own eyes or just conceptual or something. It also doesn't help. It also doesn't help expose or stop anyone's movements to latch into fake salacious stories. If anything, it threatens to drown out the real stories. If you know the real stories, then come out and say it.
Right.
But let's keep going.
Right.
This isn't justice. This is gossip. Silly gossip. The fact that the allegations that are coming forth are apparently literally too domestic for folks is infuriating. Not too many of y'all don't really care to see justice and accountability for real. You just want to hear more stories. Those two things aren't the same. Also, why are people listening to Jaguar Wright? She ain't doing ish but repeating gossip and remixing it in the process. And people will talk about how she's not well and repeat something she said.
Now, baby girl, I understand you're going through some things. I get it. I respect it. But at the same time, Jaguar's been speaking up for a very long time. And that woman, ain't nobody sued her yet.
Like it's gospel in the same breath. Make it make sense. It's protect black women except when they're, gone? Or except when folks think they lied about their son's father? Or except when their baby daddy, who literally ain't so much as called to check on his son for damn 20 years, is about to, is talking about his so-called suspicions over IG.
Just in case you all didn't catch that, who that was a shot at. That was a shot at Albie Shore, Kim's ex-husband, or Kim's baby daddy. Because, he's got a whole lot to say now, but he signed his rights over to his own kid. And supposedly he had suspicions. Now this is what he's saying that there's a whole lot. You gotta catch up. Watch some of those videos.
Please.
But that was a shot
She
at
goes
him.
on to say, y'all been dragging half and untruths about Black women's lives up and through social media in the name of exposure. All right? Let me tell y'all something. And let me just tell y'all something really well.
Oh,
Naomi
yeah.
is annoying.
Well, because she said she's got her own videos, her own proof of things. So she's like, go ahead, sue me, bitch. Sue me, take me to court, make my day. You know what I mean? Hey, I fucks with Jaguar. I've always fucked with that woman the long way. I think I've supported everything that she's ever said because, again, if you've researched hip hop, if you know, you know. And like I said, they ain't not one person sued her yet. They may have threatened her life. She's had to move several times. She's had to, look over her shoulder and keep her head on a swivel. But ain't none of them took her to fucking court. That's right, exactly. That's what she always, if I'm lying, take me to court, motherfuckers. No one has yet. Facts.
She's John Legend's former manager, like I said. And again, like I always say, I think she worked for Bad Boy. Granted, she would maybe know a little more about Erica Kennedy's cause of death, okay? But I think we gotta ignore everything else she said in the thread. Again, I followed her for a while on Twitter, and most people don't know her background, but her hate for Jaguar is odd. Now, listen, she might actually know Erica's family, and that's why she's exposing how she actually passed away. But again, I need to say, her vendetta against Jaguar just seems personal. Like it's the behind-the-scenes reason why you can't stand her. Because who can deny, that a lot of what Jaguar has said turned out to be true? Now, I wouldn't be shocked if she maybe added some razzle-dazzle on the stories. But to pretend it was all made up, baby, that's a stretch. Like, Naomi has lost the plot. Jaguar Wright was exposing mostly the Neo Soul Clique. And the last thing on Naomi, it's amazing to me that she's spending her time doing. While technically she's not a full-fledged Diddy apologist, she did work for Bad Boy as an entertainment lawyer, and then later as a high-up marketing position. She had a high-up marketing position, if I'm not mistaken. So she would know a lot.
Yep.
And if you're going to expose anyone or anything, then why are you wasting time nitpicking irrelevant stuff? Now, granted, she might have an NDA on her, but the fact that she doesn't know how weird she's being, again, I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt and hope she got permission from the family before exposing Erica's business like that, if what she's saying is true. Because just like we don't know Jaguar and Naomi, we don't know you either. So provide some receipts.
Because they have.
You're actually way worse than Jaguar.
Oh, yeah. She's got a lot of her, Wendy Williams, Cat Williams. Like I said, there's a lot of them that have spoke up and speaking truth. And these people know because they were backup dancers. They were assistants. They were in the fucking circle. So I'm just saying, stand with survivors, stand with victims.
Girl,
fuck
you're
a predator.
dragging for making the Twitter thread. Right? And you're
Wendy
worse
Williams
than Jaguar.
been speaking up. Well, and all these same people have also been speaking up on Jay-Z for a long time, too. I believe his indictment's being printed up. That's just my opinion.
Even speaking on Erica, because you're now exposing business that maybe her family doesn't want out. But again, you guys, it's all irrelevant. Because the bigger picture is that the predators in hip-hop are finally being exposed. And not only that, this Me Too movement, unlike the last one, actually has people paying attention.
Facts.
And instead of providing actual info that will help corroborate the victim's stories, instead you choose to chastise people for actually taking an interest and trying to uncover the
London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. These motherfuckers is gonna be held accountable. Maybe not all of them, but a good part is.
themselves the dark and seedy past of the people you work for, and according to you, since you know so MF much, you can speak on, because you ain't have a problem speaking on Erica being bipolar and deleting herself according to you. Y'all, I am tired. I am tired. I am through. What y'all think about this? I think, first of all, when it comes to Cassie and this girl, Capricorn, Lauren London's play sister, maybe sister, whatever, y'all, I don't know. I feel like people have the right to feel what they feel because at the end of the day, Cassie's foolishness actually and her drama actually spilled out in her life and had real world consequences.
Right.
And unlike her, Capricorn, that left, maybe she didn't have no choice, but she left. She looks at Cassie as like,
I agree, Trina. And we know he fucks with minors as well. I mean, he tried to get with Aaliyah. He fucked with Foxy Brown. You know what I'm saying? What about his mistress that was pregnant that just all of a sudden was
you could have left and
Honey.
you chose not to. And you chose to go
It's
back.
a lot.
And we
I
know
don't
it's
think
because
people
Cassie
ready.
was being
I'm
mentally abused.
excited. I'm not excited that
at
there's
all.
victims that have been harmed and different things like that. I'm excited that these victims have been able to now be able to talk their shit, hold these people accountable, and people are gonna know. You know what I mean? Because we live in such a popcorn microwave society. A lot of people push shit away when they hear stuff like this, and I think that his Jay-Z's allegedly biggest things with him are going to be I think he's going to have some cases and there's going to be victims that come forward. He's going to have I think he is entwined with the Rico stuff really big. But I also think he's victims as well. But I think out of everybody, because Rico, you have to have more, right? You have to have you have to have other people doing shit. So I think he's the next one for sure.
All blaming Cassie, but
Yeah.
I can see how
I agree.
Erica actually got. I'm sorry, not Erica. Capricorn actually got the worst case scenario that Cassie was trying
They're
to
all
afford,
fucking
and they
monsters.
were both in their own hell, just different ways. But I do think they need to come.
Power and control is what I always speak of, you guys. And like I tell you guys in every video we talk, I'm telling you right now, I know this from personal experiences. When there are levels to all of this, and the higher level of money that you get, I was a high-end escort, so the higher up you get, the more these people, simple, average, even what we would be like, oh, that's freaky, you know what I mean? I agree, you freaky, like that shit's nothing to them. We're talking about dungeon rooms. We're talking about torture. We're talking about shit that is just like, you're like, what? And that's what we're hearing, because simple little things doesn't cut it for them anymore. And that's the scary part about all this.
Together and point the finger at Diddy. And but Capricorn's doing the right thing. She's pointing the finger at everybody else also that kept their mouth shut. But this girl Naomi and
Why you think Russell Simmons is in a country where he can't be indicted? Let's talk about it.
these Diddy apologists, I'm sick of
Let's
people
talk
coming
about
in
it.
criticizing the way people are spreading truth, criticizing, do this and that. When at the end of the day, Jaguar Wright seems to be more right than she was wrong.
Yep.
And baby, you work for these mofos, so why don't you come up with some information?
That's right.
Instead of sitting there calling people all types of dummies and idiots and sounding like a Diddy apologist. Y'all, what y'all think in the comments?
Facts. All right, we're gonna listen to one more video. Let's see, what do we want to listen to today? Dun, dun, dun. Since we were talking about Beyonce and Jay-Z, y'all want to talk about Beyonce and Jay-Z? Let's go.
It just seemed like he was playing a role for Diddy. And hey, what's up, guys? How y'all doing today? Happy Resurrection Sunday, y'all. Baby, the only thing that's not coming back from the dead is Diddy's.
Oh shit! What'd I do?
Sorry, remember I told y'all that the streets were talking about what is going on.
The devil is a liar, and let me tell you something. I always tell people it depends how you look at it, right? We can always say you can make deals with the devil, but the devil's going to collect. But you also know who else collects? I serve a God of justice. Just saying.
And remember,
And I don't serve that stuffy motherfucker that y'all like, oh, you got to go to church and you got to. No, I serve the God that meets me right where I'm at and loves me right where I'm at. And my God, he is a God full of justice. So make deals with the devil because the devil collects. But guess what? My God don't play about his people. So you can only get over for so long.
I said I had to come back and get you guys some tea. Y'all, we need to get into this
Jay-Z and Beyonce are separating assets, and it looks like, along with Rick Ross, along with Finch Montana, and along with a lot of people, because
I'm a walking testimony of that. I can promise you I was supposed to do that a billion times.
Over. And baby, everybody has forsaken him. The most of which are his high-profile friends. Y'all, the feds have expanded their investigation. They are officially issuing new subpoenas. They are going through all of Diddy's business. Remember when I said that the one thing everybody needs to look out for, from UMG to whoever does business with Diddy, is the fact that, listen, let me just tell you something about the record industry from what I understand it. Again, Diddy maintains his innocence. He says he is covered in the blood of Christ. Okay, he didn't say that, but it sounded like he said it. He is fighting for his freedom, his justice, and he's going to make us all pay when he's vindicated. Good 100%, luck finding that vindication you speak of, right? So Diddy says he's innocent. This is all lies.
I'll tell you what, I know Damon Dash is talking, right? He's been talking a little bit here and there or whatever. I really wish, and I understand why he's not doing it. So if you understand the relationship between Damon Dash and Aaliyah, I really truly believe that he loved her. I think that they loved each other. I think that that kind of love you only get, some people don't never even get that kind, right? There was a lot of things, obviously, and he has said there's a lot of things Aaliyah has told me about R. Kelly, about Jay-Z, just different people. And he swore he would never say anything. But and I appreciate his loyalty to her. But at the same time, I kind of wish he would speak up to help her have that voice too. You know what I mean? Even though a lot of us know, like, again, if you've been following the music industry, if you understand it, if you've been in it, you know what I mean? Like, you've experienced it, you get it. So there's been things that's been said forever. No, we're not. We're going to stick on you, Pity.
Proven in court. Little Rod is going for that day of court. And you know how there's all these
Pity's like, that's all Summer talks about. At least I know what I'm talking about, though. I'm just saying.
Which UMG,
I hope so. And I kind of see that because he's starting to, you know what I mean, talk his shit, right? And I like Damon Dash. I don't know, I just like him. I hope he does. He is still hurting, 100%. You can tell he still loves her. He still celebrates her. He's still there. Again, that kind of love. Like, I'm lucky. After everything I've been through, I'm so lucky. I've been married for to my husband for a very long time. And I believe that, that's that once in a lifetime type of love, right? Well, I believe that, yeah, he's definitely still hurting over that. There's no doubt about that. I think that fucked him up with her dying and even the conversations that wrap around her plane crash and all that shit. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. Have you seen the channel? No, but I'll check it out. I'm going to screenshot that so I don't lose the name. Seeger's mom, what's up, beautiful?
So music group is fighting right now and all this stuff. There were blank workers at the parties. There were freak-off workers on payroll.
Just like also, speaking of, I've told you guys, this week, next week, in the next couple weeks, there will be a closed grand jury that is going on. It is happening. I told you all when it was happening last time. And then, P. Diddy got picked up. But in that same, following, I think it was a couple weeks or even a little bit longer than that, there was tons of grand jury stuff that came through. Well, they will be having tons of sex workers and other people coming and talking to the grand jury over the next couple weeks, just FYI, in New York.
There were bags of cash delivered to parties because they needed to pay for strippers at the album release party. There were underage people like sipping on alcoholic beverages.
Don't mind Pity. He's just our...
There's all these accusations that are going on, and some people rolled their eyes and said, excuse me, grow up. Have you ever been to an industry party?
Thank you so much, Frida. Thank you, beautiful.
An album release party? Don't you know the way these actors singers, producers, record company, label owners. Don't you know the way they roll? To which I will say, and this is how Diddy is in the reckoning for the music industry and why everybody is separating assets, not the least Beyonce and Jay-Z, Rick Ross, and this and that. Just because the record industry was run like the Wild West does not mean it's actually the Wild West. Just because every single person had strippers at the album release party and was using some of their promotional money to pay them does not mean it was legal. Listen, Diddy had a lot of high profile friends, okay? He had a lot of high profile business partners. He at one point commingled his money with Jay-Z. They have a lot of joint ventures going. When that thing got raided, one of the reasons why Diddy's been in the news screaming, how dare you, this and that. The kids are like, the cops pulled me out of the bathroom. I was taking a shower. Christian Combs is mad that he couldn't put his do-rag back on because you know that boy loves his waves laying by the ocean. Everybody's complaining. But why are they complaining? Because that raid sent shockwaves through
and
the
if you
industry.
haven't heard the book that they've now pulled, I did read. We read one book and then we played another book because I thought the one book was the right book and it wasn't, because there's tons of books out there now, and they've pulled the one that everybody was talking about. But we did play it the other day. It's on my thing if you haven't listened to it, and there's tons of people on YouTube that are reading it as well. This is similar to the TV show Empower. This is bigger than Empower.
And
yes,
everybody that is connected by Diddy, not least the Carters, Rick Ross, and whatnot, are quickly separating their assets because what Diddy has going on doesn't just span state lines, it spans international lines.
Again,
and
you guys heard me say earlier, the feds just went to the UK to interview some people. Now, let me give you a little tidbit. Now, I don't know if this is the people that they interviewed, but I did hear through some pretty good, substantial conversations. Eve is supposed to be testifying against him. She is the rapper Eve. She is working. She lives in UK. Naomi Campbell apparently could be named as a co-conspirator or someone that is going to testify. We're not sure which way she's leaning yet. Same, and there's a lot of people that are on that list of being either co-conspirators or testifying against him. The feds have also said that the window is coming closer and closer to where if you don't come talk to them, then you will be charged as a co-conspirator. So Mary J. Blige has been named. There's been a lot of different people that have been named. So
seems like if what these streets are saying can be believed, again, don't believe me. Go do your own research.
Some of our favorite people.
Let me tell you
Mary
my
J.
opinion.
Blige is one of my favorite artists. But to sit here and say that she's not tied up in this, or she just hasn't seen things or whatever, I can't even say that. You know what I mean? Because I think she knows a lot of shit.
Then go do your own research, okay? What he was up to has spanned not just national, but international. Yep. A lot of ways he got his money. A lot of things that happened in his yacht. A lot of things that happened in those houses.
With the airplanes.
All this stuff is now coming home to nest. And anybody that had a dollar tied up in his businesses are going to be held accountable as well. You know, a side note, I've been reading a lot about what's going on. We're going to get into these articles, give you guys some facts, talk about Jay-Z, Beyonce, Rick Ross, French Montana. You know what? Everybody's getting on Daphne. That's 50 Cent's baby mom. Everybody's getting on Carisha, right? Because the streets are saying, and thank you, Supreme Pigment, for pointing this out. People are saying that one of the reasons why Carisha might be worried and might be sticking by Diddy is because the same way she was tweeting grimy, she might have been very rough with some of the girls as well. And maybe people have stories to tell. I actually don't know if I believe that, because honestly, Carisha seemed like she was playing a role for Diddy, and maybe that, I don't know. That whole situation is weird. I still don't know why she hasn't denounced him, because you know me, I would have been up there being like,
I would have been literally up there giving a
100%. Listen, I give
Please.
Jaguar tons of credit, Corner. 100%. That woman has been speaking up forever. People have called her a liar. People have harassed this woman, put threats to her life. Yes, honey, Jaguar is the number one person that's been speaking up. Jaguar, Jean has spoken up for a long time. Cat Williams has spoke up. Wendy Williams, but she's honey. If y'all do not follow her, you should go follow her. 100%. I will always, if you go and listen to any of my lives that I bring up about this and talk about this, she is the first person. Ain't not near a person suitor, not near a person.
Take what Cassie did and let's add 10 on 20 and let's put that. I would have separated myself from him so quickly. There ain't that much money in the world. It couldn't have been love. Diddy ain't treat her well. He was always playing her. He was letting people disrespect her. There's not that much love in the world, but they didn't even have it. At least Diddy didn't have.
I agree with you though. Everybody that talks about this should scream that queen's name to the mountaintops, because she's been through a lot of shit, and a lot of people, made fun of her, called her crazy, said she was dope fiend, all this crazy shit, lying, all this. And like I said, put threats on her life for years. And this woman has not said, I mean, again, ain't nobody sued her.
But for her, you know what I'm saying?
And she's still speaking.
He refollowed Gina Hung, the same person that was calling the munch, even though maybe he was mad because in Miami he hadn't cursed Gina Hung out.
And welcome, by the way.
I don't think people would have been as quick to believe the Diddy rumors, but we put it together with the Young Miami, wait, Diddy would have her on your knees. Freak offs.
Well, you guys have heard me. I'm going to pause this for a second. You guys have, so I am looking, okay, so this weekend I went to, once a year I go to this huge music festival. It's a 4-day thing. I went to it this weekend, so I took a little time away from the internet, away from, you know what I mean, doing anything really, except for Friday night. We read the book and stuff. Anyway, so I have talked about, the Kardashians, right? So when I was looking into Kim Porter and doing my different research on her and things, you all know that her death has been very suspicious since she died. And there's a lot of people around Petty that have died because of pneumonia. Just kind of a weird non-coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences, by the way. Anyway, so when I was looking into all that, I had noticed, so there was a picture when they were wheelchairing Kim Porter, when they put her body on the gurney and was wheeling her out to, I guess, the coroner's car or whatever. Corey, do you all know who Corey is? Corey, thank you so much. Thank you, Corner. Thank you for subbing. I'm a survivor of human trafficking, so I try to always give my perspective in different things of this, because I understand the power and control. I understand how this shit works. And so just to give you a little back on, what I talk about. So Corey was standing in the picture that as they were wheelchairing her out, not wheelchairing, putting her out, as she was passed. I was like, who is that? I was like, that person looks familiar. Then I did a little research and it ended up being Corey. Apparently, Corey is Chris's, for those that don't know, Corey is Chris's Kardashian, or whatever the fuck her name is, husband. The young dude, everybody has been very skeptical about their relationship because it's just kind of weird, but whatever. And so I'm like, okay, so he's around these circles, because you always wonder how certain people get around certain circles, right? At least I do. Susan, thank you so much, sweetie. Thank you, beautiful, for the super chat. So I started digging, and I'm like, how long has Corey been in all of this? How long has he been in the celebrity circle? How did he get into the celebrity circle? Well, I mean, back in the day, he was an escort and a stripper. That's what I found out. I also found out he's been in this circle of people for a very long time. He's, there's mentions of him hanging out and flying around with Michael Jordan and all kinds of things. Kanye West has been speaking up on a lot of shit, right? If you guys listen to Kanye, a lot of people chop him up as being crazy. And yeah, some of the shit he does is a little, but you gotta listen to people because trauma is a motherfucker, right? Like even me, sometimes I go on my banshees, and if you just get to know me and you get to listen to me, you'll be like, yeah, okay, now I get what you're saying, Summer. So trauma is a motherfucker. But Kanye and what's the kid, the white boy that has kids by one of them, Scott. Card Kanye and Scott have been speaking up against Corey forever. They do not like him. They do not trust him. I mean, Kanye's even went as far as like he's a Fed, he's been planted, all that kind of stuff. So I'm digging around and I'm doing some more research because after Kim Porter died, I guess he was friends, really good friends with Kim Porter, and to the point where he helped raise her kids, has been said. Um, they had like a brother sister type thing going. But then after she died, he got super close with Diddy. Pity, as I call him, because he's fucking pitiful. Um, so there's a lot there. So now that I've got this weekend, I'm not doing anything. I'm gonna deep dive in some things and see what I can poke around and find out. Because there's something there. My gut instinct tells me there's something there. I just don't know what. So I'm gonna dig into it because I want to know. He is in just way too many circles, and people are coming up, unalived, and shit's happening, and he just kind of is there. When people, I look at things when I'm doing my research. I look at pictures and places, and different things that fall over into other things, and he tends to fall over in a lot of shit. So, just wanted to bring that up. Let me see. The Kardashian women made him crazy. Yeah, I agree with that, Trina. 100%. Wendy Williams came out years ago against Judge Greg Matthews. 100%. There's been conversation allegedly since Puff Def wants me to talk about somebody else for a second. There's been conversations about the judge. There's been what is it? TJ Jakes. There's Steve Harvey. I mean, there's allegedly all kinds of fucking names. So I'm just buckle up, buddies, because it's gonna get real. He is linked to Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, so when I did, yes, I'm going to say that yes, I do believe that at early ages, I've seen pictures of Pitty in the same circles with the same people as Epstein. If you actually look, there is a lot of crossover between Epstein, Weinstein, and Pitty. So, you got to start questioning yourself. No matter how much actors, actresses, or politicians that you like, you continue to see them. And I understand. You get in pictures sometimes because you're at parties and you're with people, but I don't know. You know what I mean? There's just, once again, there's usually something there. And so I think that I'm doing more research, and I think in the next couple months, I do believe there's going to be a lot of shit come out. Now, one thing that I noticed with the Epstein stuff, like I said, I went to New York. I know one of the victims personally, and I can tell you that even the names that have came out in that situation, people, and this is the sad part of society, we have to do better. People will make excuses for the people that they like. So they will say, well, they were just flying on the plane, or, oh, they were just at a party, or, oh, did it. I mean, Summer, look how many politicians you're in pictures with, or Summer, how many people you are in pictures with. Well, yeah, you're right. When you're out and about and you network and yada, 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 I understand all that. But there's still something there. I just feel there's something there. So we're going to dig in some more. This is going to be larger. Oh, 100%. This is definitely going to be larger than Epstein. Where is the smoke? There is fire. 100% Seeger's mom. I've always listened to my gut. That's why I'm still alive and I survived the shit that I survived. So, it's a gift. Everybody has gifts, and that's mine. Jeffrey Epstein had the island a lot of... Well, he didn't... did he have Love Island or some shit like that? It's weird, right? It's odd. All these people are...
What Cassie talking about, right?
There's a lot going on, people.
There's been rumors going around, side note, about those raids that just happened. That a lot of... When the feds were coming to...
Yeah, he did. I mean, lawyers are lawyers. Listen, I mean, I guess I understand that, like, lawyers, if you're a lawyer for the defense or something like that, and you're doing crime and stuff, you're gonna represent all kinds of different people because really that's what your job is, right? And allegedly bad guys, I mean, as much as I don't like any of these people, they deserve lawyers, and they deserve lawyers that are gonna do the best of their ability. I was appreciating his Pity's last fucking lawyer because he's an idiot, and I thought it was great. His wife, I think he was doing the shit on purpose. This is just my opinion. I think he was being a shitty lawyer on purpose because his wife helped like build one of the task force for human trafficking in New York and one of the districts or whatever the fuck y'all call them up there. And so he was just doing a lot of asinine stuff. Like he actually said to the lawyer, like, if you don't trust him, judge, trust the $50 million. Like, what the fuck? Who says that to a fucking federal judge? But, whatever. So if you don't know, he has gotten some newer representation, or however you say that word, some new lawyers on the team. They're going to be filing, or they have filed for a new bail hearing, which he's not going to get because of the harassment of victims. So, all right, let's listen a little bit. Diddy Epstein was recording him when they were on. Yes, yeah. There's a lot. I believe, and this is just from what I've looked at and different things I've looked at. I think that there are people that I think, and I'm not making an excuse for Pity for any way, shape, or form. I do believe that he had this hunger. And he had this narcissistic ways to where he wanted to be the best and he wanted to be top by any means necessary. And then there's a group of people in these high power situations that wait for people like that because they're like, cool, we ain't got to really force you. We ain't got to do shit to you. We just got to kind of show you the ropes and how shit goes. Because if you really break down and look at the trafficking, the stalking, the grooming, all of it, there's a lot of similarities. So that's just kind of my opinion.
Grabbing stuff. They weren't just grabbing stuff to collect evidence. They were grabbing stuff to destroy
Yes, that's been a lot of
evidence.
conversation about how they have tested it. At first, I was like, because a lot of people were like, well, Summer, it has to be something more than just baby oil in those bottles because they took them. And I said, well, I'll be honest with you, and this is just what I know. In a situation that there is any kind of trafficking or a sex crime, no matter what it is, including just 1,000 bottles of baby oil, they will take that for evidence. 100% they will. But it makes more sense that was being used to put stuff in to then drug people because there are a lot of people that didn't realize they were being drugged. So, I think either way, how it comes out, it makes complete sense to me for them to grab all of them baby oils, whether they have drugs in them or not. I think that there's a strong possibility it could happen, but I'm not going to X either one out because I understand that in these kind of crimes, even something as simple as just regular lubrication, 1 or 1,000, they're going to take that shit for evidence because the amount of victims that we're hearing about, I can promise you there's 10 times the number of victims we're not hearing about. You have to think about these are celebrities. They are people that travel everywhere. They have access to have parties constantly. And people, young people, want to go have a good time. They want to be around people that are powerful because, they might get a chance. And then boom, you're in over your head. And I know this from personal experience. So you get into something and you don't realize that you think you got control of it, but these kind of monsters and beasts you will never have control over because they're 50 steps ahead of you when you're learning your first step in the game.
We're raiding the house to take evidence.
What's up,
now,
Chris?
I know what you're saying. How can Diddy still be in trouble if they were raiding the house to destroy evidence? Because we're going to get to the point in a second. But just follow me out because this is all. Just let me cook. This is all related, right? The streets are saying, right, that, and this makes sense to me, that federal raid accomplished 2 things. Diddy has been cut free by the people he serves. If you look at what the banks are saying, that he's $100 million in debt, If you look at the fact that there's a whole lot of fake billionaires going around, if you look at the fact that a lot of people that we thought were super rich are nothing but
100%. This has been going on, and that's why too. So I speak and train and different things like that. Which, by the way, I just got invited. We're going to be doing another amazing conference. It's not going to be till March, but I just got asked to speak at it and hold a class, which I'm really excited about. This particular one, because I was with my survivor sister this weekend. Whoop whoop. Anyway, this particular one is focused for youth. So we have adults come, but we have also a lot of youth come, and it's really, really amazing to do. So I'm really excited about that. But anyway, my point being to that is I do a lot of speaking stuff, and shit, I just lost my fucking train of thought. Hold on. Okay, I'll have that train of thought back in again. I do that a lot.
very
Squirrel.
well paid spokespeople and marketing people, but they have no real ownership.
Hello from Russia. I don't know how to say your name, sweetie, but hello.
In fact, black owned things and black billionaire and black success, why there are some genuine, of course, black billionaires. Look at Byron Allen, the guy that owned like all those, that owns all this stuff. There's a lot of legitimate black billionaires, but when it comes to the entertainment system, a lot of black billionaires have been sold to us when literally they are the faces of white-owned companies. For instance, right? We did a little research, and this is no shade to anybody because, baby, they still got more money than me. So please, let me just be clear about that. But when you look at something like, remember when Jay-Z said he was owner of the Nets, and that was one of the reasons how the Nets Barclay Center was able to come into the middle of Brooklyn and build, because it was a black-owned business, a black-owned thing, and it was touted as like, that's fantastic. However, the Russian owner, who's the real owner of the Nets and Barclay, let everyone know that Jay-Z's stake was only 0.069% after he used Jay-Z to get the Barclays built in the same location. Brooklyn Dodger owner Branch Rickey couldn't get a stadium for the Dodgers built 60 years prior. Again, they propped up the idea of this is, look, I remember everybody's like, oh my God, Jay-Z, he's one of the owners. This is black excellence. And because our community wants to uplift, as much as they try to say, oh my God, black people, we just tear each other down. That's not true. Because every time somebody comes to us saying
All right,
black
Cedars
owned
Mom.
business,
Talk
black
to you soon, beautiful. Talk to you soon. Bruno.
excellence, we all get behind it and lift it up. Do we not? Right? So they're saying that Diddy was kind of the same thing. He served Ron Burkle. He served this person. He served that person. They propped him up, right? He had, percentage of ownerships, but he was not an owner. And as soon as they didn't need him anymore, they have cast him out the drip. People are saying, and we're going to have to watch out for this, that Diddy kept tapes on everybody.
So I don't know if some of you all, please look at the profile of. Okay, I'm going to screenshot that. Please look at the profile of as a psychopath. 100%. He's the worst kind of narcissistic psychopath. Fucking just, ugh. Shit, what was she saying?
Material, blankual.
Oh. Hold on.
Blackmail, if you will. Some people described it like that on everybody and everything from tape.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. So if you all remember, if you've been following it, and if you haven't, then I'll let you know. Right after he got indicted and he got picked up, a shitload of CEOs of companies stepped down. Kevin Hart has closed shitload of his restaurants. And so if you'd like to see that list of names of some of the, and there's been more that stepped down since then, I'll have to update the list that I got on Instagram. But it is on my community page. So it's a lot of shit going on, man.
Conversations,
and I do believe he has
for
tapes
everything.
on all of them.
That was one, the way he brokered power and lorded over people, but also with the people stronger than him and more powerful than him. That was maybe, if you can say, his insurance policy.
Right.
One could even call it his life insurance policy. Unfortunately, if these rumors can be believed, when Diddy's house was raided,
perhaps some of the evidence carried out of there was evidence that he needed to keep control of his billionaire.
Well, during the press conference, the feds have came out and said they do have evidence of where he's been trying to blackmail people. So clearly, they have videos of that he's recorded people.
Masters, if you will. You see, the streets are saying that Diddy is still going down because for every reason, people decided you are going down. I do think it's suspicious.
So there are people that are saying, so what was it, Ciroc? Some people, and this is just conversation. I believe that he's getting all that he's getting because he continues to abuse people, and people are getting sick of the shit. But there are some people saying that, he was in deal with Ciroc and all of them. He didn't own the company. A lot of people thought he did, but he didn't. But anyway, I guess there's some very powerful people that own these type of companies, right? I'm talking about very, very powerful. And they're saying that, his downfall is coming because, he didn't make a deal and sign the deal, whatever deal they're talking about. I believe that, he's just done a lot of really bad shit, and victims are coming up and starting to talk. And he's finally getting his day. But I believe they're saying that the part that they're allowing, the powerful people are allowing all these lawsuits to come forward. They're allowing the news media to cover it. They're allowing all this shit because you have to understand, like, there's people that control all of this stuff, right? There's people that control the media. There's people that control everything. The police, the politicians, all of that. And he definitely was, in that percentile, or definitely had those people around him in that percentile that was able to do that. So that's why some people are saying all this stuff is being allowed now, because for years people have went to different entities and tried to get help for the things that he's caused. And, like the lady that was shot in the face with the J-Lo situation, they weren't even investigated. There was nothing even done that night. You know what I mean? Cheyenne went to prison for 10 years and now that case is being reopened. So there's a lot of shit that's came out with the whole Biggie and Tupac thing. I mean, this shit is not just sex trafficking or SA or even domestic violence. This shit is, this is everything. Gun trafficking, drug trafficking, this is bodies, like everything. Jay-Z is definitely a handler to many black. Yes, 100%. I agree with that.
About what happened with Cassie. It was weird the way he didn't want to settle and then he settled. But then I realized Jonathan Davies, his attorneys, I don't understand the legal strategy. To me, it seems stupid. I just don't understand the legal strategy because even when we get to Little Rod, what haven't you settled with Little Rod? Because Little Rod is destroying what's left of your life. But they are saying that when those raids took place, a lot of the evidence that was taken is what the evidence Diddy has to make sure that the people more powerful than him don't get any funny ideas. And that's one of the reasons why.
If you hit on go to the main page, and then you slide over, it'll have like videos, live streams, and then community page. That's how you do it. But you have to go to the main page, like where you subbed at. Oh, I don't know how that is set up here because I can't see it. But if you hit on the Hot Mess Summer, that should take you to the main page, and then that'll get you to the community page.
Diddy, his sons.
I tried to put stuff there, and then I also put stuff in our members' channels as well. And then we obviously do labs. So I try to make sure everybody gets a little bit of everything.
Most importantly, his lawyers are going crazy. I mean, crazy against the feds for this was illegal. You never should have raided. You took security tapes. That wasn't yours. How dare you? You give it back because Diddy needs that mess as a life insurance policy, so to speak. So we get that. Now, let's get into the Jay-Z and Beyonce and Rick Ross stuff.
And on my community page, there's stuff with Jaguar, there's stuff with Gene, there's stuff with this young lady that's speaking. So these are people that I'll listen to. Then I also, again, I'm always going to tell y'all, no matter who y'all listen to, go check the shit. Research yourself. It's good for your brain. It makes it grow.
Streets are saying that Beyonce and Jay-Z, remember how they were supposed to have that Grammy party and then they decided to cut that they weren't going to have it. And I remember making jokes and be like, damn, you canceled your whole Grammy brunch, the Rock Nation Grammy brunch, just so you didn't have to invite Diddy
Yep.
anywhere, right? And Clive Davis was like, I stand by my man, right? He was looking extra down
That's someone that should definitely.
after that night. Tell my baby, I
Monster.
told you I'm gonna be the only one at the end of this day. You know, Clive Davis, I don't know. That seems to be his, I don't know. But I remember being like, that's so weird the way, why wouldn't Jay-Z and Beyonce just be like, yo, Diddy, you're not invited. Now that's assuming they canceled the brunch, so Diddy wouldn't come. But
That's
I
why they
noticed, and even
canceled it.
50 Cent said 4 days ago, Beyonce and Jay-Z have taken a huge step back from Diddy. Now,
Yeah,
part of it,
that's what I believe. I believe that this is, you know what I mean. People that have evidence of the things that he's doing, victims, different things like that. That's why I believe. But I was just saying there are rumors that that's going around. So you know, I mean, you can take that for what it is. I think there will be powerful people that should be brought down that won't be brought down, because that happens in all these type of cases, unfortunately. But you know,
it's just being smart. Because even if they didn't have
There's
business
a lot.
together, I would think it would just be smart that they're stepping away. Carisha,
and they've been investigating Diddy for a long time. Pity, because he's pitiful. They've been investigating him for a long time.
take note of what Beyonce, because you know Beyonce ain't letting anybody mess up her money, let alone her Cowboy Carter release. Have y'all heard that album? It is so good. Make sure you guys stream the album.
Yeah,
But Beyonce ain't letting
I can see
nobody
that.
mess up her money.
Rick Ross is getting
Okay, they took a step back, but they were still like, what's going on? They have been, since
That's
the
the
Grammy
problem.
party, quietly separating. Jay-Z and Beyonce have quietly been separating their assets. Now, the funny thing is, there have been rumors about them separating their assets, and people have said, like, oh my God, are they getting a divorce? What's going on? They're separating their assets. They must be getting a divorce.
Nope.
Wrong. The Carters ain't getting divorced. Please. Did you listen to 16 Carriages?
She's just trying to save her money.
The Cardis are not getting divorced. They're saying that the reason why Jay-Z and Beyonce have been quietly separating their assets is because Diddy and Jay-Z have a lot of business together. And they are saying that along with a lot of people in Hollywood, they see the writing on the wall. The federal raid was just the beginning. The Fed has issued new subpoenas in the case. They are ripping through his business records. They are looking through taxes. They are looking
Of course they do, because they're involved.
through the trafficking claims. They are looking through everything. And when that hammer comes down, all the businesses, you know how it is, fruits of a spoiled tree. If even like $1 was used to fund or get into and was funded by or help fund RICO, racketeering, trafficking, either
Yep.
drugs
It's over.
or people, right? Either or, that whole business will be pulled apart. Jay-Z and Beyonce, of course, they're married. They've always had commingled assets. Jay-Z and Diddy did a lot of business together. I believe there's an article in Business Insider in 2015 when Diddy was basically begging to do business with Jay-Z. And I could see Jay-Z doing business with Diddy, but people are saying it's more than what's on the surface.
Yep.
There's a lot of business they have connected. The raid, and that's another thing why they're saying that a lot of people in Hollywood, including Beyonce and Jay-Z, are really pissed off at Diddy. Because even though, remember that weird statement Diddy's lawyer put out, wanting everybody to know they never knew. They had no idea they were under federal investigation. They were like, well, surprise. They had no idea that they were going to be raided. They had no idea, even though if you have a brain, you know, how can you have no idea?
Right.
Where before you had a criminal attorney named Jonathan Davis. And then in the weeks prior to the raid, which we reported first before everybody picked it up, right? You recruited Bobby Steinem. You who is an international criminal lawyer that defends people against whole governments. She defended Osama bin Laden's right-hand man, his main shooter. She defended Ghislaine Maxwell. She defended the guy that tried to kabooey the Heathrow airport. Mind you, she defended them, but they all got jail time. But That's neither here nor there. You then hire Sean Hawley, whose last clients were Danny Masterman. Sean Hawley, whose last client was Tory Lanez, which, oddly enough, are in jail. You have Jonathan Davies, who is a seasoned criminal defense lawyer. On top of that, you just hire, what's his name, Alan whatever, who is Alec Baldwin's attorney in the Rush trials for that shooting that happened on trial, which oddly enough, that's going horrible too. Yo, who? I don't understand this. Did he think he's not going to jail, but he's trying to go to hell? Because I don't know what's going on with that legal team. But you know what? If he likes it, I love it. The whole point is, it didn't make sense. You hired out the blue these super high-powered attorneys, regardless of the success rate, that own.
Shit, she destroyed careers, and there's a whole woman supposedly that had a baby and shit that's unalive. So I mean, there's, yeah, that shit, that hoe gets deep too.
Only works with some serious mess. Bobby Sternum's specialty is international RICO trafficking terrorism. You hired this for a lawsuit against Little Rod, I guess, right? But what was the writing on the wall? Diddy knew that something was coming down the line. However, he kept that secret from his friends and his business partners. That we can debate on how culpable they are, what they knew. The whole point is Diddy did not tell anybody what was coming down the street. So when that shit happened, a lot of people that got money commingled with them. Jay-Z, Rick Ross, I don't know about French Montana. He seems to be, is he on Diddy's free call payroll? I'm just saying. They all seem to be involved. So that explains that weird press release that his lawyer took out, basically trying to say it is unconstitutional.
So I don't know if you guys have heard. I just found out of it again. I was kind of busy this weekend. So on Tubi, I don't know if you guys know what that is. It's an app. It's got all kinds of movies, shit like that, whatever. Apparently, there was a documentary or some sort of thing done. I think TMZ did it, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to look at it tonight. I'm going to watch it tonight, and I'm going to go over it tomorrow. Probably play some of it tomorrow. But if you have it, just so you know, you can go on Tubi, and apparently there was a special that was done, and, you know, I did see one little clip of, like, the interview of what the lawyer was saying, yeah. Anyway, so I'm going to watch that. We're going to go over that tomorrow, just FYI.
There were raids happening. We had no idea. Where'd this come from? We've been under federal investigation? How? You're kidding.
Yeah.
Right? That's why that weird statement came out. Not because they actually didn't know. It's because the people that have been like, yo, our money's connected. A lot of stuff is connected. Why didn't you?
So again, that RICO we've been talking about, that's kind of what this one's about, right? Touching on that a little bit. And there's going to be a lot of people. Miss Rummy, I hope you're doing okay, sweetie. I heard you were going through some things with the hurricane and stuff. I love you, and I hope everything's getting better. Definitely sending you prayers and good energy.
Say anything, right? So anyway,
yes.
The last.
So this is the Christine just posted the title. If you want to watch it, I'm going to watch it tonight. I work third shift, so I'm going to watch it tonight. Let's see what it has to say and discuss it tomorrow. I heard it's pretty interesting. Yep, Oprah Winfrey as well.
Straw was when the feds issued a new round of subpoenas. Again, these rumors.
Oh, that sucks. Well, I'm so sorry. That sucks. Yes, Oprah Winfrey is definitely, name's been around the circles for a while.
That Beyonce and Jay-Z are getting divorced because they've been separating their assets. People have it wrong. They're not getting a divorce. Jay-Z has a lot of money tied up with Diddy.
Now, it was said the other day that, and I mean, she even reported on it as well, that he did go see a divorce lawyer and a criminal lawyer. I don't think that he went to go to the divorce lawyer to get a divorce. I think is a mutual thing, and they're trying to figure out what's the best thing for them to do, because if anything, I think what's going to happen is he's going to try to act like, try to keep her separate from everything. And again, that's why they're splitting some of their assets and different things like that up. So I don't think they'll get a divorce though, because as long as they're married, she can't testify against him.
Now that the feds are coming, one thing is certain: Beyonce is separating. Oh, Matthew Knowles is like, cancel that joint bank account. You better take your name off the site. Matthew was not letting anything happen to Beyonce's fortune. But the whole point of the matter is, Beyonce.
I personally think, and this is just my opinion, I personally think it's too late for all that. I personally think that she has also got her own foot in this battle, should I say. So I think that if they're going to come after her, they're going to come after her shit regardless, because she may allegedly be a part of some of this. I just don't see how entwined all of this is, and she didn't know anything about it. At bare minimum, didn't know about it. But again, like I said, there is a woman that was pregnant by him that is, no longer around. There's other different things that have came out with them. So, do what you will with it.
Is separating her assets because Jay-Z is tied up with stuff with Diddy. And when the wrecking ball comes down, those businesses are going to be involved in a RICO case, an international case. How is it international? Well, you gotta look at the newspapers and kind of like read the tea leaves, okay? Again, do your own research. I'm just telling you my opinion, right? Make up your own mind. But a lot of things with the Diddy before, we actually heard, and it was just whispers. If you start reading the papers now about what's going on with Diddy, all of a sudden there's all these articles popping up about the crazy drug-fueled orgies that Diddy was having on his yacht in Ibiza, that Diddy was having on his yacht in the Caribbean, that Diddy was doing this, that Diddy was doing that. Why do you think these articles are pulling up? Also, they make a note of saying that Cassie was there, but she seemed very subdued. Why do you think these articles are coming up? Because people are starting to toe the line and pull up receipts. It wasn't just America. It was all the places that Diddy had homes. More importantly, those yachts that people would look at and be like, oh my God, Diddy's renting a yacht that's $250,000 a day. How do you think Diddy was paying for that $250,000 a day yacht? What do you think he was selling? What do you think he was moving? What do you think he was trafficking? What do you think he was doing? What do you think all those pretty young things were doing on there? Why do you think all
there's that. There's the allegedly conversations have been for many years of like even the schools that she's built down in Africa. And again, all these are alleged. I have not found facts on this stuff yet, but I do think that there will be some people that are going to go down. Now, I don't know if she's going to be one of them that are going to go down in this or not. I think everyone that is doing something fucked up should go down. So that's just my opinion on that. No matter if we've liked them throughout the years and thought they were amazing and then find out that, they're a part of stupid shit. If they're a part of stupid shit, then yeah, they need to go down too.
These billionaires loved being Diddy's friend and loved hanging around Diddy. What did he?
And I will also say, just because you can't find stuff on people doesn't mean that it's not happening. There's tons of rumors, you know what I mean? Like, but when I say find things, I like to have facts. Like, there's facts and court documents on some of the shit, so I can be like, yes, 100%. But yeah, do I believe some of the things that are going around? I do. But again, they're all allegedly, and there hasn't been any black and white yet.
He offered that was so different than what everybody else did. See, Jamie Foxx and everybody in the world has been telling us that Diddy's parties were Sodom and Gomorrah like, right? Even Luke Dancer's Uncle Luke was quick to say, listen, I left the parties 30 minutes after Diddy got there. Don't put my name in it. Denzel Washington has come out and said on record, I left 30 minutes before Diddy ever got there.
I'm going to just say this. As far as Denzel, supposedly there's a video that I'm going to be looking at later because I want to watch it first. And it's supposedly a victim that's speaking up. So if I watch it and, then I'm going to definitely play that tomorrow as well.
Don't put my name in it. Everybody is pulling their name out because what happened on Diddy's parties could be in some jurisdictions, especially the Southern District of New York, especially according to the federal government, could be looked at as blank trafficking, as RICO, and God knows whatever else happened on those shots. Where before, nobody felt like they had the voice to speak. Someone had to fund those parties, right? Just like somebody had to attend those parties. Again, these violent delights definitely have violent ends. So again, getting back to Jay-Z and Beyonce. So what type of business did Jay-Z actually have tied up with Diddy? Well, that is really, that is, we're gonna get into that because I have my suspicions on that, right? But Curtis Schoon on Twitter, go ahead and follow him. Curtis KurtisScoon. If you're on Twitter, please follow him. He said, so Diddy went from being a billionaire to being 140 million in debt overnight. The anonymous buyer of his Revolt shares is just the real owner protecting his investment. All these brand ambassadors are supposedly billionaires, right? He named Kylie, he named Jay, he named Kanye. They got more money than the people they got more money than the people they work for, which is a good point. How you working for people that aren't even billionaires, but you got billionaires? The math ain't mathing, okay? We know stock options. We all know all that. But let's get into this mess because I actually want to talk about it, right? In 2015, Diddy discussed his desire for a Jay-Z business collab. Year after year, the two most powerful figures in hip-hop are Diddy and Jay-Z. Although they're both running enormously successful companies, such as the record labels and outside projects, Diddy is a little annoyed and miffed that he and Jay-Z haven't worked together on any business deals.
Exactly, Christine.
Before. He spoke to Sway on his radio show, Sway in the Morning, to possibly discuss working with Jay-Z. He said, me and Jay, we talked about it. We said we want to pick the best one. It's going to have to be the one thing that gets it all the way popping. For other people, it was DreamWorks. When DreamWorks happened, it made it okay for strong visionary ideas to get together. Okay, shut up, Diddy. Anyway, he said, I think there's only one way we'll be able to get true economic power. If we do more things together, that's the next level of hip hop. Again, some people are saying that part of the reason it took Diddy so long to even go into business with part of the reason it took Jay-Z so long to go into business with Diddy is because Jay-Z's not stupid. He saw what Diddy was into. He saw what Diddy wants. Now, I know there are rumors about what Jay-Z is getting into. At this point, it's just rumors. If somebody knows something, say something. At this point, it's like, I know I've heard rumors and whatnot, but with Diddy, we have hardcore,
right,
if not evidence, at least accusers. You see what I'm saying? So Jay-Z in 2015 was looking at Diddy like, I don't know.
And there's accusers for Jay-Z as well. And just like with these victims that have spoke up and are now getting the validation and that they deserve, right? There's also victims of Jay's that has also, I believe, will be vindicated in some sense. I said I'd say in the next, and I'm given 6 months with a whole lot of fucking room right there, but I say way before then. But I'm gonna go and say within the next 6 months he will be indicted. Because remember, the feds were still doing their shit. They weren't really planning on, like, from what I understand, they weren't really planning on like scooping him up the night they scooped him up, but because he was up there and there was so much harassing and bribing and all this different shit going on, they were like, fuck it, we're going to get him off the streets. That's why his bond continues to get denied. That's why it will get denied this next time, I believe with all my heart. So, yeah. And especially with the amount of victims that have came forward now with him being locked up and not being able to, do what he does, which is harass and bully victims.
Eventually, they did partner up on a few things.
And with the RICO, it's, they can look at it from, well, this is an organized crime type of situation. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's real.
Some of them were known, and some of them are secret. Don't ask me why. However, out of the known ones, they partner up on a Black Excellent project. Now, I don't know if it's good or bad in Diddy, and it's sad because when you look at Diddy, it's actually sad that he's a monster, especially if you look at the entertainment space. Diddy was one of the few entertainers, few powerful Black men that actually allowed also Black women to come into the space and be honored and uplifted. And it's really sad to know that one of the reasons you let Black women in.
I don't know what she's going to say, but I'm going to say this. Is that, did he give that persona, now that we know the things that we know, and again, some people that have been following this for a long time knows this has been going on since he began, and this is something that goes on in the music industry, and not just in the rap culture, but in the music industry, period. But would it make more sense that maybe he did this to give that persona, like, hey, I'm lifting women up, I'm doing this, but really, and we also know that not all his victims are women. He liked to diddle with men as well. So
to the space is because you felt like they were easier to prey on, right. And that you felt like if you did this and that, nobody would say a thing.
Trina, 100%.
Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying? It's really sad and it's really ironic. But now I look at that and I look at places where like Black women are not allowed in because, they just want everything to look like a future where it's actually Black men and like exotic women. And now I'm like, yeah, have fun with that, right? But it's just like really, really sad and ironic. But anyway, they talked about the Black Excellent Project, and the business will be a software app. This is just one of them that connects Black businesses in the local area you are present in, right? They were working on that together. There was also various rumors circulating about a bunch of other projects. Now, the funny thing is with Jay-Z, because I think this is why Jay-Z has been so popular. Jay-Z is always known when to jump ship. You think about him and Dame Dash. You think about him and like.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, yeah, okay, maybe in some sense he's been quote unquote to jump ship, but at the same time, is it jumping ship or is it he's just a little bit more careful about not letting his shit get out? I'm gonna go with probably number 2, but okay.
Rockefeller, he always knows when to jump ship. He's not the type of person that's just like loyalty. He's like, yeah, and I'm out. Like at the end of the day, Jay-Z is gonna worry about Jay. It's interesting that he was very, very hesitant to go into business with Diddy with anything. And it's interesting that now Jay-Z and Beyonce are quietly separating assets. Rick Ross is also separating his assets quietly. French Montana, I don't know if he got assets or if he's like a kept woman. I don't know, right? That's something for a different live. But they're quietly separating assets, and people have been rumored they're getting a divorce because a few people have been seeing it happen, but they're not. They're trying to make sure that when this hammer comes down with Diddy, whatever Jay-Z.
Yeah, I don't think, again, I'm going to say it again, I don't think they're going to get a divorce. Number one, because they won't have to testify against each other.
And Diddy got going on, it's not going to affect Beyonce's assets. Now, my sources told me that Jay-Z is not involved in any of the nefarious things that Diddy is involved in. But again, they have a few secret business ventures. When I tried to ask, like, okay, what are the secret ventures? Everybody's really squirrely about it. Nobody really wants to talk about it. I guess if you talk about it, there's only a few people that know, and then everybody's going to know who told. I honestly don't know what could be so secret about business ventures, but they definitely don't want the Diddy blowback to actually fall on them. And let's get into the Diddy blowback. And it's been well documented that there have been various rumors circulating about the potential distancing between Jay-Z and Diddy. Some of these rumors suggest that the two have been spending time apart due to their individual projects and commitments. For instance, Jay has been involved in various business ventures and music projects, while Diddy has been focusing on his own endeavors. However, these rumors were refuted by sources close to the two, which assured them that any speculation of distancing is purely fiction. Again, we have to realize that maybe I'm wrong, but it looked like Diddy was always the unofficial co-host of Beyonce and Jay-Z's Rockefeller brunch for Grammy weekend. And I found it just very odd that when all this mess went down with Diddy, they, for whatever reason, for the first time in history, canceled that brunch. I think because they didn't want to anger Diddy, because at this time people thought 100% still
Sam. Beat
like all the stuff with Cassie, but they didn't want to anger Diddy. But at the same time, they were like, "Motherfucker, we are not being seen standing next to you."
A lot of people have disappeared over the years and never to be heard of again. Or a big thing of his is a lot of people just happen to get pneumonia.
Oh, but let's get into this about what really has everybody shaken and the subtle separation of assets that are going on has been sped up by all parties that have, I would imagine, that have money with Diddy. Let me just read you this about the way the feds are closing in on any of
his eyes, man. I'm telling you, since I've always, his eyes. It's his eyes. He's evil as fuck. You can see the devil in him. I've looked in the devil's face many a times. I can promise you.
Diddy's business partners. Federal subpoena. The feds have subpoenaed multiple companies. This was in TMZ. The feds have subpoenaed multiple companies after the Miami and the LA raids. They said the raids on Diddy's homes are just the start. Okay? And watch the way everybody's going to be moving from Meek Mills to his best friend Robert Kraft, which, oddly enough, do y'all remember, I think it was before the pandemic, I don't know how they made that go away, but do y'all remember when Robert Kraft was involved in some type of lawsuit for a blank trafficking ring of like massage parlors? And he was actually caught in one of them. And he was actually involved in that. And somehow through all that stuff, they made it go away. And then Robert Kraft became this social justice warrior and then got bunny hop and Meek Mills out there when he's not busy crashing out on when he's not busy crashing out on Twitter, letting us know.
Oh yeah, if y'all on Twitter, y'all can follow all this shit. He be crashing out.
Oh, how much he loved the feeling of being inside a woman. Sounds perfectly straight to me, Meek. Because if there's one thing straight men talk about on Twitter, when they're accused of being Diddy's. Side note, before I get back into this article, you know, I think Little Rod revised his suit and named Daphne, Jade, Carisha, and also Stevie J as Diddy's freak off worker.
And Stevie J, he looks like a little rat. I've always said that
and
about
y'all
him.
Find it odd that Stevie J, first of all, I was like, I never knew even.
His baby mama, Mimi, she lost a reality show. She was supposed to be having this reality show come out. It's like a dating thing or something, I guess. Anyway, because of all the allegations with Stevie Ray is attached to Pitty, she lost a reality show because of it. And like they talking about Miami, Young Miami's supposed to be having some kind of show come out. And they talking about like her shit might get pulled too.
Stevie J and Diddy were that close and spent that much time together. And now Stevie J is like in Miami with Diddy, showing him like faith and loyalty and strength and by his side. First of all, when did you and Stevie J become friends? Second of all, do you realize this makes you look more guilty that the person we are accusing of being your freak off worker is now like glued at your hip and another man? You're not working on the album because the Love album flopped. Why Stevie J got 50, 11 kids? Why is he literally your best friend being by your side? I'm not saying your friends can't stick with you till the end, but I never really knew Diddy and Stevie J were that close to begin with. Again, it's giving guilty to me. But what do I know? What do I know? Stevie J is probably sitting there letting him know with his his girlfriend teeth. Yeah, you literally put on your faith in Carisha and this and that. Who's there for you in the end? Again, it's given. Were you one of his freak off workers? Let me know in the comments. Were they ever that close? I don't remember that. It's given.
Yeah, he was a part of the scummy crew. That's what I call them. Fucking scumbags.
The bottom bitch. It's given hustle and flow. It's kind of hard out there for a pimp. That's Stevie sitting in a thing. Or they just like, whoop that trick. Whoop that trick. It's kind of hard out there for a pimp. Stevie J is singing his part. Anyway, let's get into this. And this is why Hollywood is mad. And this is why all of Diddy's business partners are mad. And this, I believe, is the origin of the Beyonce and Jay-Z divorce rumors. Not because there's anything going on with them, right? Jay-Z ain't leaving Beyonce. Beyonce ain't leaving Jay-Z. Yeah. They just not. Right?
They not. First, number one, even I think they've had a weird relationship for a long time. I really think their relationship is really a business deal at this point. But like I said, anybody that's even possibly thinks that they might be getting indicted by the feds is not going to go and get a divorce in the middle of it to the bitch that's been his fucking right hand since she was a kid or a teenager or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not going to happen. He's yeah. Because they don't want to. They don't want each other to testify on each other, and you know, by law they can't make them.
So those kids turn 18, like most marriages, but I don't know, right? The issue is
now what they can do is they can make things real motherfucking miserable for you until you do. But you know, that's just what it is.
Beyonce is not letting her mess get caught up in that, especially after the success of Cowboy Carter. Okay,
I'm sorry.
So let's get it.
And I like this girl a lot, but I'm sorry you haven't realized that yet, girlfriend. But she has been caught up in this shit.
To this, right?
Allegedly, in my opinion.
I know that it was like the Hitman, and I know this, but Diddy's not working on an album. Stevie's not working on the album. When did they become attached to the hip? And why is the person being accused of being your live-in freak-off worker on a monthly stipend the same person that Little Rod said, Diddy said that he got tapes of Stevie J, right? And I know people are saying, oh, no, that's that one, but are there tapes of Stevie J or not? Let's see, but it will come out in court. Okay, anyway, right? They said the raids on Diddy's homes are just a start. The feds are issuing subpoenas to companies doing business with them, aiming to identify anyone with info pertinent to the blank trafficking probe. Again, the separating assets, because if they are issuing...
Maybe that's why we've seen a lot of CEOs and different things jump down from their companies. They're trying to jump ship so they can save the ship, right? But might be a little too late for all that. Just saying, I don't know yet. Shit. Miami. We'll see.
That means that Jay-Z actually could be subpoenaed to either testify in the case, either full.
I'll tell you what. If Miami doesn't, tell what she knows, she's gonna be his co-conspiracy. The feds have already put that out.
Or against Diddy.
And all the relationships, all the relationships kind of flop over with each other. So
it's gonna be against Diddy because you know Jay-Z ain't going down with the ship. Listen. You guys, Sincerity said Stevie J goes back to the 90s with Bad Boy Entertainment. He's part of Peggy's album producers. You guys, yes, I know that Stevie J goes back to the 90s. But if that was the whole truth, where's the rest of the producers from the 90s? Like, I don't understand. You got someone that was named as one of his freak-off workers in the lawsuit. Where's the rest of Bad Boy? Where's the other producers that are on the Love album?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because producers, they formed a bond. They go back in time. When did Stevie J parties. Look at all the Grammy parties. Look at all the album release parties. Where was Stevie J chilling with Diddy back then? Why are you guys so close now? Don't give me, oh, they work together. Yeah, I know. I'm asking for in the last 5 years, how many times have you seen pictures or even heard of Stevie J and Diddy being inseparable? I'll wait. I'll go to the comments
These
right now.
last couple of years,
I'll
they
wait.
sure have been, but I believe it's for
I'll
clout
wait.
for Stevie. And I do believe Stevie's involved in this shit.
Oh my God. I'm done with y'all.
Yeah.
Nicole Phoenix says you keep asking when he didn't go.
Do you watch that show? I do. It's a hot fucking mess. Jocelyn is a hot fucking mess. Listen, not even. I mean, like, listen. Y'all better watch out because I hear there's a surviving Jocelyn coming through soon. Honey, she does those girls dirty as fuck.
Anywhere. Okay, Nicole, if he
And you don't want to hear the rumors I've heard, so I'm just saying.
didn't go anywhere, then can you guys please direct me to any
I'm going to say stay tuned because I believe eventually there's going to be some things come out.
goddamn pictures? Anything? There's a difference between being cool and being friends and being inseparable.
I know a girl that was on that show too, by the way.
How is it?
The Barbie chick, the white girl? Yeah, I know her. Stevie will not talk. He was there the day when... Oh, yeah.
In a lawsuit when you were named as a
I
freak
believe
off
Stevie's
work.
been trying to get some clout off of all this, to be all the way real to you, because he's just that much of a scumbag. Now, I do believe that he was at some of these parties and he's been involved in some of the scummy shit. So, yeah, the Puerto Rican princess. She's a fucking clown, dude. I'm sorry. She treats those fucking females like pure shit, dude. She's an asshole.
All of a sudden, there is an inseparable
I watch it.
bond.
I watch it for the
Do you
drama.
understand the difference between?
I'm not gonna sit here and lie in front. And like I said, the girl, the one of the chicks, I know her. You know what I mean? That was on there. So like, and she's been on a lot of those Zeus shows. I think she's at her own show for that matter. But yeah, she's got a whole bunch of charges coming if she don't snitch.
Friendship and being inseparable. Jay-Z.
The feds personally said the window is closing, and once the window is closed, it's a wrap.
It's a friend. He has distanced himself from Diddy, right? Diddy and Steve. I'm not arguing with this. I got eyes of my own. I'm not even getting in with this with y'all. Anyway, let's get back to the thing. Y'all being dumb. He was always around. I'm also thinking about inseparable. That's like saying a guy's dating a girl.
Right.
And you're like, where did you come from? When did you guys get engaged? Oh, we were always friends. We've been friends for 10 years. I know you've been friends for 10 years, but I didn't see you at the birthday parties. I didn't see you at this. I didn't see you at that. I didn't see you around Christmas. I didn't see you on the Instagram feed. And now y'all pop
she's
up
very
engaged.
honest
I
about
mean,
her
I
partying.
guess. I just didn't know y'all was that close.
You don't.
That's all. As far as being inseparable, while he's going through this, as he was
She's
named
just an asshole, dude. She treats,
as
like I
his
said,
freak
she's
off
a bitch.
worker. Okay, maybe it's just me. Anyway, listen, agree to disagree. Agree to disagree. Let's move on, okay? Agree to disagree. Time will tell. They said the raid on Diddy's homes are just the start. The feds are issuing subpoenas to companies doing biz with him, aiming to identify anyone with info pertinent to the Blink trafficking probe. Sources with direct knowledge told TMZ subpoenas, all bearing Diddy's real name, Sean Combs, were sent this week to various providers tied to
100%,
him,
Sam.
including
It's the party
the
scene.
private
It's
charter
kinda,
jet
it comes with it. You know what I mean? It definitely comes with it. That's where I was kind of going with that, Susan, without saying it.
company, phone providers, and computer companies. Oh,
Like I said, I know someone that was on that show. Like I know them. Her son is named after my son. That's how well we know each other. And no bullshit. But yeah, she's
tell y'all, or maybe I did a video about it. Y'all
and I ain't gonna lie, I watch Zeus Network purely for
So Diddy had
the
a private
fucking
jet.
fuckery.
They're also subpoenaing the
I do.
private jet logs. Why? Well, because you know that, like by law, when you have a private jet or any jet, there has to be flight logs.
Yep.
The flight logs are supposed to have the passenger manifest.
Yep.
The manifest tells you, I just put lotion in my eyes. Oh, I'm dying. The manifest tells you who's on the plane. By law, it has to be accurate. You need to know who's on the plane. It's part of international aviation rules and whatnot. They are saying that there are manifests that show that Diddy's jets taking off here, going overseas, maybe going to Belize, maybe going here, maybe going there, and Diddy's on the flight. However, they're saying that Diddy's not on the flight. The feds want to know who was really on the flight, why your name was on the manifest and it wasn't, what it was transporting, and why all these phantom flights, to the point of his private jet is flying left, right, all over there, blah 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 blah, right? Doing all this.
So just FYI, this is where the allegations of some of the not only act trafficking but also trafficking is coming into play.
Doing all this stuff.
If you haven't been following.
Even we saw when Diddy was actually accosted by the feds, right? Think about it. His two kids were in LA, but they didn't get on the private jet. His other kids were with him in Miami, Quincy and the twins, but they didn't get on the private jet. The private jet took off from LA and got grounded in Antigua because the feds were looking for Diddy. His name was rumored to be on that passenger manifest.
He wanted people to think that's where he was.
But he was never on there. So explain to me what you got on that private jet, why you're moving, who was on that private jet, and why were
Just FYI, I don't know if you guys remember when all the raids and stuff like that started happening. But like, there was him, I think 2 of his daughters, and then the one white dude, I can't remember his fucking name. But anyway, he got arrested that day. He got arrested because he had a pouch on him. He had a pouch full of drugs. Anybody that knows anything about this case, his assistants, and anybody that ever is around him always has a backpack or a pouch full of things. That way he can have whatever he wants, whenever he wants it, and anybody around him, yada, yada, yada. So, just saying. I've also heard that young man is turned feds evidence and will be testifying against him as well.
You're supposed to be on it. Meanwhile, you and your kids are literally chartering other private jets that are not your black, the Black Air Force One, that are not yours, to take you guys around for spring break, which I have a hint is probably going to be we're probably planning to be a permanent spring break. But do you see what I'm saying? That's like having a car and you moving it everywhere, but then you having a Bentley and saying, oh, no, the Bentley is for family use, but you calling Uber to take you and your family somewhere. Again, who was using the jet? Where was the jet going? What was the jet carrying? These are why the feds are going crazy. And while they're even subpoenaing all records for even the private charter jet, right? Phone providers and computer companies. Again, the feds already know what their case is. They're just trying to connect the last few dots. Now, TMZ says we're told the subpoenas were fired off by the U.S. Attorney of Southern District of New York, which, as they've reported, is running an investigation. Now, I don't want to brag, but I will. I was the first person to report, and people said I was lying 2 months ago, that Diddy was being investigated by New York State, New York local, and also federal. I said that for a fact. People said it was lying. I know some dummies now are just like, oh, well, it was obvious. It wasn't obvious because everybody was like, oh, that's ridiculous. There's no merit. This is tabloid-like. And now look, baby, this ain't tabloid-like. This is real life. This ain't tawdry. Diddy's real life is tawdry. Anyway, let's get into this. I mean,
she's not
the feds' goals are finding out who flew. Remember, we talked about this on Diddy's dime and where they went. Remember when I did that video about Jonathan Oddie and people were hating on me, talking about I was just making up stuff? And Jonathan Oddie said in 2014 that...
And if you all remember who Jonathan Oddie is, Jonathan is the dude that... So I guess he did some shots or whatever in one of the hotels down in Miami, Trump Hotel or something like that. Anyway, he got picked up for all that. come to find out he's a male escort and all this other stuff. And the interview went around forever. And so many people were like, this guy's crazy. This guy's nuts. He's got to be tweaking, blah, 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 blah. No, come to find out, pretty much everything that he has said has, just like the other people, has came to fruition. So just saying.
Diddy used.
And we also did a show on this. You'll have to go back and listen. But there was reports that he got unalived a couple years ago. Then it comes out that there's like court dockets, not documents, but court dockets, where he supposedly has had cases that then has been pushed back. Some people are thinking that, which kind of makes sense, he might be in protective custody, and he is supposed to be testifying. So some of this stuff we're gonna have to wait and see how it plays out. I hope he's in protective custody and nothing happened to him.
His private jets to move liquid Colombian dancing desks and other stuff. Him, Rick Ross, and who else was it? Rick Ross. I think it was, what's his name? DJ Khaled, maybe. But he definitely said Diddy, Rick Ross, and this is back in 2014, used the private jet to move liquid Colombian dancing desks and a whole bunch of other stuff in Ciroc bottles in the private jet. Everybody thought that man was crazy, and for good reason. He was giving an interview in like a mental ward hospital gown. So I see why everybody thought that he was crazy. But he also said that Cassie and Diddy were hiring him for freak-offs. And Diddy would be high as a kite. And he would be doing this and he would be doing that and blah, 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 blah. And everybody thought that mofo was crazy. And now cut to 2023 and he's been sued by Cassie for this. He's been sued by Little Rod and 3 or 4 other different women. Ain't it funny? It's all coming together. And now we see, remember when I did that live about, what's going on with Belize? What's going on with Diddy's house in Belize? What's going on with Diddy's private jet in Belize? Why is his name on the manifest? Why is it going back and forth to Belize? What is it taking? And everybody was like, oh my God, if he was doing something in Belize, the authorities would have stopped him in Belize. And until we know Shine, the guy that allegedly, according to Natanya, the girl that Diddy banged in the mouth. Now again, Shine took the rap and did 10 years for that, but Natanya wants the case reopened, and feds are expanding the probe to maybe reopening that case because Natanya's saying, I know for a fact that Diddy did it, and you can remove the 9 bullet fragments that are still in my face to test, to prove that it was Diddy. Now, I know some people are saying, oh my God, that case has been closed. Move on. It's not the point of who actually shot her. It's the point of the feds might reopen it.
There's a lot of conversations, Sam. That's for sure.
Because if they tested bullet fragments and they found that it was Diddy, it's not just the fact that Diddy did it. It's the fact of, how did that miscarriage of justice happen? Around that time, there were a lot of rumors that Diddy had paid off police. He had paid off.
Well, if somebody is, and I've had this happen to me. If somebody is a person that speaks truth, if somebody is a person that, whatever, people will sit there and to try to discredit you. People will sit there and, shit, I've been called a fucking trafficker. I've, all kinds of stupid shit. So there are people and entities out there that don't even want, don't want people talking. They don't want people learning. They don't want any of that. You know what I mean? So they'll call, and then especially like in this situation, he's victim. You know what I mean? So, and they did the same thing to Jaguar. They did the same thing to Wendy Williams. They did the same thing to all these people that have been speaking up, called them crazy and all this other shit. So.
The courts, he had paid off a lot of people, including Shine, to take the rap for him.
Yeah.
So do you see why the feds want to reopen? Because it's not as simple as like, oh, it's an old case, let it go. The feds are like, no, how did that miscarriage of justice happen? How were you able to brutalize Cassie in the middle of the street and the police never stepped in? How were you able to brutalize?
He's another one like Justin, and there's a couple of them that I'm just like, man, poor baby.
supervisor in hotels, and hotel security would bow down and give you that stuff. How much power that you have? Who was on your payroll?
What I hope in some of these situations, well, in every one of these situations, that there are victims that have been speaking up for years and have been harassed and dragged and threatened, and all these crazy things that society has done, because they don't believe them, because it's their favorite whoever. I hope that they are getting a little bit of validation right now. I think, for whether you're attached to this case or not, I think a lot of people understand what's going on. And I really hope that the victims around this case really feel like that they are being heard in some sense, because that doesn't happen with victims. Everybody gives them shit usually.
This money coming from?
And while there are people believing everything that's out, there is still even just as many people that are not believing any of it and still stand by these predators.
See how when they look at it, it just starts to grow bigger and bigger and bigger, and it becomes biased. Okay, so now we got Shine, who, if the rumors can be believed, took the rap for you in 10 years. You paid off. Now Shine goes back. He gets a job in the government in Belize because apparently his family is very well respected and in politics in Belize. And he's trying to be the prime minister of Belize, but he already got his fingers in the government. Whoa, that seems like a really, really good connect for your plane to fly back and forth without you watch on the passenger manifest thing, and you're flying back and forth. Again, what has been proven in court? Nothing. But just like we're wondering why, it looks like the feds are also officially finding out who flew in Diddy's private jet on his dime and where they went. One of the places they're looking at is, what did we tell y'all a couple of months on this channel? Belize. Anyway, on where they went, they're not only looking for alleged victims, but also any potential witnesses who could support or dispute allegations of blank or blank trafficking. It'll be particularly intriguing to see if people who've sued Diddy were on those planes. Yeah, wouldn't it? Again, I'm going to save this for a video tomorrow because I need a little bit more information. Again, this is just my beliefs. Do not believe me. Please go do your own research. I'm sharing my opinion, what I've heard based upon information and belief. Diddy says he's innocent. Nothing has been confirmed or denied in a court of law. I'm basing my stuff on information and belief based upon court papers, newspaper articles, press releases, and of course, blogs and what the streets are saying, right? You know how it's YouTube, baby. Read the disclaimer. You know how this mess goes. Anyway, it will be interesting to see if anybody who sued Diddy was on those planes. But more importantly, it's not just people they're looking for. And this is why Diddy is running scared. If
they're looking for, because if you remember when he got popped, he had pew-pews that were shaved, the serial numbers. Why you need pew-pews that are shaved with the serial numbers? I don't know. Anybody want to take a guess? Also, like I said, there's cars that have been blown up. There have been threats on people's lives. There have people that have went missing. I mean, they're investigating a lot of shit. So don't by any means think what's came out in the last couple of weeks in these indictments and stuff. And that's, we can talk and listen about all the different things, but in the legal process of this, we have to look and see what the courts are saying, what they're going to move forward with, what they're going to use, what they're not going to use, what could not happen. That does not say that people that have not filed paperwork or that are not going to testify, that their stories aren't real. I think that through testimonies and people sharing what's happened, there is a common thread that anybody with common sense can see throughout all of these different stories. There will be some that will be on the front line. Even in this case that came out today, the guy said they I think it was interviewed 3,000. Right now they're representing 120, and that's gone up even since last night. When I heard about it, it was 90, and so this morning when it came out, it was 120. By the time this live is over with, there might be representing some more. but they'll only do so many people, right? Because just the way the court systems are set up and different things like that. And listen, we all know that there's a lot of issues with the court system, so please don't think that I'm sitting here like, yeah, yay. I just personally think that prisons are meant for people like this. I don't think people for fucking stupid shit should be locked up. I think all that's stupid. I fight against police brutality and I fight to change systems, period. But again, this is what I believe the system should be used for, as predators. But anyway, they'll use so many witnesses, however many they choose, and that will show a layout of different things. But like, and even the people that have spoke up, I can promise you there's 10 times the amount of people that have not and will not speak up because it's a public case, because of all the scrutiny that comes with national cases. I promise you, until you all understand it or been through it, it's a lot. You know what I mean? So that's just my opinion, though.
I was Diddy's team. I don't know. You think they're preparing for the criminal trial? Anyway, right? They said, what's more, we're told subpoenas will enable feds to gather even.
Oh well, these billionaires and these big people with millionaires and shit, they all usually have offshore accounts. Well, people that ain't doing shit, whatever. They're cleaning their money. They're whatever.
More in.
And that's also, I think, the key of all this stuff too, and why so many people that have done business with him are shaking in their boots right now.
Tell about the nature of Diddy's involvement with those various businesses.
Rico carries a life, and it carries a life sentence. They're not. Yeah.
As well as, of course, the business partners. It goes.
None of the trafficking stuff on an organized level is going to be good either. So yeah, he's fucked, and the people that they end up going after are probably going to be fucked too.
About saying this is a crucial aspect of the federal investigation that began with raids on Diddy's home in LA and Miami on Monday. TMZ seems to me like they become the unofficial Diddy mouthpieces. The federal investigation did not start with raids. It is impossible for a federal investigation to start with a raid because you need a warrant.
Right.
And you need probable evidence and call, and you have to go in front of a federal judge and tell them why you need to kick in a door and literally pull.
And as you guys have heard me talk about before, civil suits. Listen, civil suits can be turned criminal. The feds, your local, shit, courthouses and shit like that, state, whatever the fuck you want to call it, they can pick up civil suits. If they are, say me and Susan, right? We sue each other, and there's stuff in our lawsuit that judges or whoever see, they can pass it on for it to be criminally investigated. And so I don't know if people are aware, but that's one of the reasons. Now, that is not the only. Again, we have talked about how they have been investigating him for a while, for a little bit, and they're not done investigating. But yeah, so just little nuggets here and there I try to give you guys so people understand. Civil suits can be turned criminally if a judge or somebody see fits to pass it on to the proper authorities. I guess that's the fucking word they use. And then also, like we've said earlier, if the feds pick you up, they can withhold your bond. If you turn yourself in, they have to give you a bond usually. So, Summer, what's up with Trump? Some for donation. I have no idea. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I ain't even been paying attention to him. I have not. I'm gonna have to get caught up on that little ball. I guess the debate's going on tonight. What time is it? The VP debate's going on tonight. I'm gonna watch it. We're gonna wrap this up here. I think we got like.
Well, Justin.
What's left on here? We got about 10 minutes, 15 minutes left on this. And then we're gonna wrap this up. But yeah, I guess the VP debate or some shit is going on tonight, I think. Katrina. 9 o'clock. Which, good. I'm going to be watching that, and hopefully TPP goes live tonight so we can go over and talk our shit about, because this is going to be funny, I'm sure. Them two clowns. I hope Tom, what's his name? What's Kamala's VP? Tim? I hope he lights into Vince. I don't like him. Just saying. He looks like the devil too.
And Christian out.
He's a snaky little fuck.
Before
I mean, all politicians are, to be fair, but yeah, he's
before Christian had the chance to put his wave cap on, you actually need. And I will say this one thing: it's really evil because I don't know if Diddy's kids are actually guilty of anything. If they're not, it's really evil but smart with the Fed.
So, just so you know, one of his sons actually has a case going on. There was a young lady, I believe it was Christopher. Hey, sexy man. There was a case going on where a young lady has made allegations of assaults and different things like that happening on a yacht. So, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, 2 of his sons were named throughout the indictment.
Did because you know Diddy, it pretty much ensures that Diddy won't pull a Russell Simmons, maybe, because while Diddy might be like, whatever, I'll live the rest of my life in Bora Bora, I don't care. He's probably even happier about that because he's like, do you know the type of freak offs I can have in Bora Bora? Ain't no law, right? He probably just sitting there on Amazon being like, can we get 300 bottles of white nail polish? It's going to be a good month, right? Diddy might be fine to go, but are you going to leave your kids to answer to your crimes? Because if you leave, Justin's CEO, bad boy. Christian was all up and down that business. If you leave, the feds literally have that they'll probably press charges against your sons and make your sons answer for the crimes. Since the head of the organization is gone, they're going to make the CEOs and the other people that help run the organizations, they're also going to be held responsible. It's evil, but it's a smart plan, right? Again, the raids on Diddy's home did not start the federal investigation. You actually need to do a thorough investigation. And the way the feds are, they never kick off an investigation by raiding your house. By the time they raid your house, they know what they're looking for. They know what they want. And that's why they're kicking your door in, because they're looking for it. Do you see what I'm saying? And TMZ knows that. But also, when you read TMZ, this is just my opinion, it seems like they have firmly become a mouthpiece for Diddy's lawyer. Diddy still, after all of this, thinks that he can actually beat this case and somehow come back from his public image in 3 or 4 years. Good luck with that. I ain't watched the Cosby Show since Bill Cosby got locked up. I don't care that he got out of jail with a smart lawyer. I still haven't watched that show, right? Look at Harvey Weinstein. He can get out tomorrow, baby. Ain't nobody listening to like not one movie. And it sounds like, sorry, baby, you a pariah. Good luck. Thoughts and prayers to this vindication you speak of. Now,
Are you serious?
they said, we've been told feds have already interviewed several people connected to the lawsuits filed against Diddy. How much you want to bet one of those people are Cassie, Aubrey O'Day, Tiffany Red, definitely Little Rod, and maybe the 3. But I also think they've interviewed way more people, because it would be stupid of the feds to only talk to those people when there's when they start giving names and this and that. It's an investigation. And again, this is how you know TMZ, in my opinion, is on Diddy's side. It's not just those people. It's spanned out. That's why everybody that has business with Diddy is trying to separate as quick as they can. The only thing is, I don't think Diddy's going to stay quiet. I think Diddy, just like when he was at Kanye's concert trying to talk to Kanye, and Kanye paid him dust, I think Diddy's going to try to take down whoever he can. Anyway, they're saying it's going to take time for authorities to determine whether they have enough evidence to indict due to the expansive nature of the investigation. For now, Diddy denies all wrongdoing, and there are no restrictions on his travel for now. But please know that the feds are watching him like a hawk. So no matter where he goes, right? Because here's the thing. They can say, oh, no, Tisa, there's no restriction on your travel. Go where you want. And I'm like, all right, bet. So I'm like packing up, and I'm like, bye, mommy, I love you. You know, if you get a call from an unknown number, like, pick up, because it's probably me. And I could be going to Kakakistan. But guess what? Since the feds are letting me travel, they also know, keeping track of where my tickets are bought, where I land. So when they need to pick me up. I could literally be walking with llamas in the hills of Kakakistan, and they gonna pop up and be like, Tisa, where you at? Tisa, come on. It's time to get arrested. That's all I'm saying, baby. Just because you got your travel. Now, I will say when they're like, TMZ keeps saying, no, they're going to take their time to determine whether they have enough evidence to indict. I have a little information on that. I'll share that tomorrow. I'm just waiting to see like what the thing is, but the indictments are coming down sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I think so.
And if you look at
I keep telling you guys 6 months, but that's me giving a whole lot of time. I think like 30, 60 days, 90 days, we're going to start seeing some shit. But I say 6 months as a whole because I don't believe even the next round of indictments that come out are going to be the only one. So that's why I'm giving a 6 month, because I know how the internet is. They'll be like, Summer, I told you, you fucking didn't know what you was talking about. and so I'm giving a whole 6 months because I think within that 6 months, we're going to see numerous indictments come out. But I think we're going to start seeing some more indictments within the next 30 to 60 days, 90 at latest. But the way shit is going, I'm going to lean towards more middle 30, 60. Who that will be, I don't know. I don't know yet. We're going to see. Could be Jay-Z, could be other people. So there's a lot of conversation with a lot of different people. We're going to see. All right, we got like 5 more minutes left, y'all.
How long it takes them after a raid to indict. Yeah, Diddy knows what's coming. That's why he hired Alec Baldwin's lawyer after took the raid to see what was going on. Because at this point, Diddy has 1, 2, 3, 4. He has 5 lawyers. Mm-hmm. Let's see if he hired like 1, 2, 3, 4. He has 4 or 5 lawyers. Let's see how many other lawyers he handled. Listen,
so the way they they don't really get rid of it. They kind of slowly push you out or whatever. But he's hired a new set, some black dude that's really good at getting plea deals or whatever. Because I mean, he's not getting out of jail. We all know that. Right, maybe save some of his, assets for his kids or some shit like that. That's what I think they're gonna try to plea deal because he's not. I don't believe he's getting out of jail. Right. Not even close. I don't think in 15 years he's gonna get out. And even if he got 30 years, like he's 60 almost, right? He's like 50 something, right? So even 40 years is like you're 90 years old, dude. Like, right. So, and yes, I'm sorry, but I don't trust 90-year-olds. They're fucking predators too. You know what I mean? So young predators get older, become old predators. Right, exactly. And they're worse because they're always like, oh, they're old. No one's gonna. Oh, fuck you, dude. But yeah.
Grandpa Harmon just gets a little free-handed sometimes.
Right.
He gets a little handsy sometimes.
Yeah. Just don't go sit on his lap. Instead of, like I always say, instead of telling you, this even happens in families, instead of telling these motherfuckers, no, you're not welcome here anymore, we'll tell the kids, nope, don't go over there. He gets a little handsy, It's like, no, that's not okay. Right.
John Hawley is in New York. Yeah, let's see what happens. Anyway, y'all, let me get off this live. Right,
so we're done. So that was, we listened to the press conference. 120 people have now come at individual lawsuits. It's not a class action lawsuit. Even I thought it was last night because that's what was going around, very heavy. 60 men, 60 women. They have interviewed 3,000 people, though. The conference is, in the beginning of this. Hey, Malid. I don't even know if I said your name wrong. I'm so sorry if I did. How are you doing, sweetie? You can listen to that. We also listened to a couple different videos. This one kind of just talked about business aspect of things because we've talked a lot about trafficking and grape and all these different things. But I try to get stuff that we can break down and listen to that we can get a better understanding of each charge because, like I said, it's not just trafficking of humans and guns and drugs. There's bodies. There's all kinds of fucking shit going on here. Organized crime, because they're even saying, did you hear about Babe when he said that there's to this day still making, is it BM, what is it, what's the Black Mafia gang, the one with the show we watch?
Yeah,
BMF. So that he's still to this day making payments because they helped him start Bad Boy.
Yeah.
And so because of the loans and things they gave him and within, you know how it goes. Once you make an investment, it's an investment for life. Right. So they still make a payment. So that's also another part of the organized crime that they're, looking at. So, all right, you guys. Well, anyway, we're gonna jump off here. Make sure you hit that like. Make sure you hit that subscribe. Tomorrow we are gonna probably do another listening session because I find it. I can kind of go over and give my opinion on things and what I can see from an advocate slash survivor, and then also just learning different things that I think we all need to learn. All right, everybody, be a part of the solution, not the problem. But if you're gonna be the problem, be the whole fucking problem. The VP thing's coming on at like 9 o'clock. Watch it. Probably conversate about that a little bit. I'm sure. Hopefully, TPP will be live earlier. If one of my mods could drop the People's Podcast, that would be cool. It's a place we all hang out afterwards. It's a hot mess, but it's a great hot mess. So it gets a little crazy, but we have great conversations, and we're just, I don't know, we're all, it's the spot to be. So you should come. Otherwise, I will see y'all tomorrow during the day. Holler!